Welcome to Impact Masters Podcast in collaboration with Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, where every conversation sparks new insights. Join us as we delve into the stories of extraordinary individuals who are shaping our world. Movers and shakers in tech, policymakers, entrepreneurs, entertainers, and all those whose stories are worth telling. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and transformed. Welcome, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Impact Masters Podcast. You can check us out on all social media platforms: YouTube, X, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. You can also find us across all podcast channels: Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Simply search for Impact Masters. Then subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. Here's your host, Michael Kamathi.
Thank you so much. Welcome once again. It is a beautiful day, the day of the Lord. And today is a beautiful day. Why? Because we have an amazing guest from the South. I'm going to be telling you more about our friend. But before that, this podcast is powered by Africa's Talking. We provide USSD, SMS, voice, insight, chat, APIs that are accessible to all developers to build scalable solutions across Africa. The portfolio of around 50,000 developers across Africa as of the time of recording this podcast. And my name again is Michael Kamathi. I'm just also building a tech ecosystem across Africa besides recording this podcast. And that's one of the main reasons that we are, hosting movers and shakers in tech across Africa. But besides that, it's also powered by Impact Masters Podcast. We are found in all the podcast channels, including iHeartRadio. You can go there, subscribe, download, support, and see other movers and shakers across the world. Something interesting about these podcasts is we have had it all, but today we have one and only Dzikamai Gangaizo, digital transformation strategist, and this one distinguished chief mining engineer at ATS, and he works at First Quantum Minerals. Zikamai stands as a paragon of innovation and strategist foresight in the realm of mining engineering. His tenure of over a decade in the industry reflects a profound commitment to excellence and a relentless pursuit of operational optimization. At the helm of optimization, he is a manager who orchestrated transformative initiatives aimed at maximizing productivity and efficiency across all facets of mining operations. As a testament to his expertise and dedication, Zikamai transitioned seamlessly into the role of Chief Technology Officer at UC Berkeley in California. Beyond his professional accolades, Zikamai is a sought-after speaker known for his ability to inspire and empower audiences. In essence, Zikamai is not just a leader, he is a visionary architect of the future, a relentless crusader for innovation, and a beacon of inspiration in the realm of mining engineering and technology leadership. He loves talking about transformational leadership as a catalyst for inclusive economic empowerment, technology and innovation as a tool for inclusion in the workplace, how to leverage data analytics in your business, digital disruption, embracing digital transformation strategies. So in case you have anything around this, Dzikamai could be reached on LinkedIn with the same name, Dzikamai Gangaizo. We'll be posting these names so that you don't get it wrong when you're typing it. He worked internationally in Botswana, USA, UK, Zambia, and South Africa, but originally is from Zambia. However, a man's story cannot be told without him telling it. Those are just details that I've just hinted on it, but he is here with us. Zikamai, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me.
Are you good?
So Today is my first day in Kenya.
Oh,
in
wow.
Nairobi.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
How did you find it?
That's what everyone keeps saying. So you're going to have to ask me after I've had more than one day.
You know, in Kenya, you just realize it within 30 minutes of arriving.
So what I like is that the energy is right.
It's good.
I'm like, okay, so I can really get into this, into this Nairobi life. So I'm hoping that the people that are taking me around, they do justice to the city.
Yeah. Wow. And you have a whole team, behind the cameras who are taking good care of you, arranging your itinerary. Chief, you said you have over a decade and you don't look that old. So it looks like it's good, but you'll get to hear about all of it. Did these guys take you for Nyama Choma or something? The game park is in the city.
So I've got a lot of expectation.
All right.
So there's no pressure on them, but they've promised me the best.
And you'll be here for some time, right?
Indeed.
Oh, nice. Welcome to Kenya, Nairobi specifically. And all of Africa actually is quite beautiful. I've never been to Zambia, but soon I feel like I should go to Zambia.
Oh, you know somebody there, so...
Yes, a colleague of mine works there.
Me?
And now I know you.
Okay, thank you.
Now there are more than... Actually, there might be more than two if I think about it. But at least I know you now.
Yeah.
And there's a colleague who works in Zambia. We're also present in Zambia. Actually, I should have said that. So we're present in 23 markets as Africa's Talking. And our solution works across all 54 Africa Union recognized countries. So anywhere you build at scale. So if you solve a problem in Zambia, you're solving for all other African countries. And I think one of the key highlights we'll be talking today with you is how to do that and why should we do it. So please, where did Dzikamai start from?
Well, you said that Zambia is where I'm from.
Yes.
So I was born in Zimbabwe.
In Zimbabwe.
Yeah. So I'm Zimbabwean by birth.
Okay.
And at the age of 18 months, my dad decided, well, I'm going to go to Botswana and I'm going to try buy a car.
Okay.
So he had this idea, this vision, and he took a leap with an 18-year-old child, and he said, packed up his bags, got a job, and he moved across into Botswana. Now, Botswana's got 2 million people now. So
then maybe it was less than a million.
Less, yes. So it would be a
million. What is then?
Then is a long time ago.
Okay.
Yeah, you look at the face, it doesn't give it away. But then was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's about 36 years ago.
36 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he moved over and essentially I did a good period of my childhood in Botswana.
Okay.
But I never stayed in one place more than 4 months. 4 years, sorry.
Okay.
So every 4 years we'd move to another city. And so for me, my journey has been one in which I'd always had to adapt, learn new people, get into a new environment.
Yeah.
And it's all about agility and how well you adapt into different spaces and situations.
Okay.
And I didn't actually know, because you can only... that was my life. So it's not like I chose it. But when I look back at it, I look at myself. Yeah. Some of the bad things are because of that. But some of the things that are good is because of that.
Yeah. So what are the bad things in your childhood that you remember?
Well, so you never get to keep friends. So for me, it's something that... friendships and keeping friendships are something that are hard to do.
Yeah.
And when you move every 4 years, what I ended up having was that I meet people and I'll be in the moment, in the space that I'm in. So the people that I'm with right now are everything. And then when I move, I also move. And then I'm with those people that I'm with, and it's very hard for me to maintain very long-time friendship. So that for me is, I would say, is the sad thing and also a bad thing. It makes me look like a horrible friend to some of those people with actual manners. But the reality is that I want to impact lives, and I want to do it on a scale that is not just one city, one country.
Yeah.
It's across every single country across Africa.
Let me ask you this, Dzikamai.
Yeah.
So you went to primary school in Botswana.
Correct.
Up to which class?
Up to standard 4.
Standard 4.
Yeah. So I would have been about 10 years old.
Okay. Then you moved to
Then I moved back to Zimbabwe
Okay. You started from standard 4
to Form 4, which would have been IGCSE level.
Okay.
Yeah.
There they do IGCSE.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. And that was that class, I don't know, maybe nursery or pre-primary school
Yeah.
to class 4. How was that experience for you?
So obviously being, I think I was very naughty.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a neighbor, and I recall this quite well. We'd always find something to get up to, but he sometimes took a bit long with his homework.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd run over, jump the fence, and then I'd go, hey,
Mm-hmm.
let me help you there.
Mm-hmm.
We finish your homework quickly so that we can get up to no good. and so we finished his homework. And one particular example was the helper in the house had sort of left, and I don't know where she had gone, but we decided that day we're going to cook.
Okay.
And I was 8
years.
7.
Yeah.
I was too young to be out of cooking on a pot.
Yeah.
So we get matches and we start trying to, and it was a gas.
Yeah.
So we start, and then we get surprised, and then we burn a little hole in the bed, in the bedding, all right?
Okay.
And then we give it another shot. We say, no, we're going to get this done. And so get the fire lighting now.
Yeah.
And with that fire lighting, it was that now the time to start cooking. And we wanted to cook what is known as sadza, shima, or
ugali.
Uh-huh. And so we're like, I've seen this before. We know what to do.
Yeah.
Water.
Yeah.
Water boils. When the water's boiled, we put in the flour.
Yeah.
So we started, right? And we think, we're on it. But every once in a while, we'll just check so that there's the coast clear. And the coast was clear. We're doing great. And we started bubbling, and then for whatever creative inspiration that came from either one of us, we decided that just putting the maize flour was going to be boring. So we started adding different things into it now.
What did you add?
So it started with salt. It started with a bit of pepper, a bit of spices.
You didn't add tea leaves?
No, it got to sand. and like I said, definitely there had to be some creative inspiration amongst us. We might have discussed, I can't remember the details, but I do believe that creatively we were really trying to push the envelope. So we had some sand into there. And then
it ceased to become an injima, as we're calling it.
Indeed. And so then suddenly the helper comes back, and in our state of panic, we make a run for it, because as any criminal does, once you find the situation has turned on you, you make a run, you go. So we run. I was his neighbor, so we ran next door. And in our quest to seek refuge, we found the most convenient place was next door.
Yes.
So my father comes back home after work, and he beats us properly, because what on earth are we doing in somebody else's room?
But you're trying to cook cement.
I tried to explain. It didn't really work. But I mean, the thing is, for me, a lot of the things, very curious, very pushing boundaries and limits.
Yeah.
And if something doesn't make sense, then, well, let's try it out. Let's see what happens. If it breaks, it breaks. If not, then I'll just get beaten for it. That's the worst that can happen.
Yeah.
So some of those experiences younger were all about getting in trouble.
Is there a good one on those experiences?
No.
Everything was just...
Well, maybe I should say it like this. What I remember well is the fact that the bad things didn't turn out the way that I thought they would. And so I'd get really...
you always started doing the good thing. Well, you want to cook some food here, and then you end up with the cement.
It start everything, like every journey, you start with good intentions, but sometimes it doesn't always end. But now that actually you've reminded me, the one thing that actually came into my life at that period was MS-DOS. So I was fortunate enough, my dad managed to get a computer, and it was MS-DOS.
Okay.
And I was hooked.
Okay.
Playing games. And look, you can't do much with MS-DOS. You literally // directory, you see what you can. And at the end of the day, playing games was largely what I really got into.
Okay.
And 2D, so you could either move left or right.
Mm-hmm.
And but again, like with all my stories, they have a beating at the end of it. So so I would come and I know that my parents aren't quite as advanced within using this gadget.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, I'd do my homework, then I'd be like, yeah, let's go. And then now it is time for bathing and eating.
Mm-hmm.
You can switch it off, and then I'll stop.
Okay.
It was my response.
Okay.
I did that once. Then I got beaten.
Because
No. I was telling my mother. She was like, come and eat. You've been on this thing for too long. I'm like, no, you switch it off first, then I'll come. Because I knew she couldn't switch it off. And so then my father came back, and needless to say, I was informed that I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it was demonstrated as well.
Yeah.
That I shouldn't be doing such things.
Properly. You never forget it.
No. Discipline is a key thing to any child's growth. Especially one with a cheeky tongue. And so yes.
Especially in Africa.
Especially in Africa, indeed.
Yes. So you moved to Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you have to learn maybe a new culture, meet new friends at standard 4. How was that transitioning? Did it take away your, part of your childhood in Botswana, or it was seamless?
So for me, I wouldn't say it was seamless. No matter, we would have moved 4 times during that period, because we always moved every 3 to 4 years. And so by the time we got there, we'd already moved several times. I had already made new friends and lost old friends.
Yeah.
But getting into Zimbabwe, like you said, it's a different world, different environment, different culture.
Yeah.
And though I was born in Zimbabwe, I actually had spent all of my life before that period there in Botswana.
Yeah.
And so when I get now to Zimbabwe, it is learning everything in terms of people, how you deal with people, how you talk to people, the cultures, what is normal.
Yes.
And for me, the biggest thing was, so what happens usually is that I'm not very expressive. I don't really talk. When I get into a new space that I'm not necessarily comfortable, I will be quiet. I'll sit back, I'll read the room, I'll understand what's going on. And so that's what I would have done. And then that's what I did. And then you pick and you understand, this guy, these guys seem like nice people.
Yeah.
You'll find me with them.
Yeah.
And that's essentially how I assimilate into a space.
Yeah.
And so within that, one of the major things that then I really started picking up was sport. And sport is a very easy and natural way to meet different people and also to feel like you're part of a group.
Yeah.
And I guess as humans, one of the most natural things is we want to be in a tribe. We want to feel we're social beings, right?
Yeah.
And so sport became the refuge for me to be able to meet people.
Which sport specifically?
So anything that required running. And I don't know whether that's because I'd run away from parents at the previous.
Is poverty a sport?
I think
that requires a lot of running. Our brothers and sisters are running to Europe, drowning. Others are running to US.
We'll come back.
Much.
We'll come back to that running story. Just remind me when I get to Botswana. Okay.
You'll go back again.
I'll go back. My story is yes.
It's quite
it's just
international.
All over. Yeah. It's a confused story.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really got into sport, and sport was the thing that really helped me transition into this new space.
Yeah.
Where I was able to meet different people and different types of people. So your question was what sport?
Yeah.
Football, cricket, swimming.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah.
And then track.
Yeah.
And so ironically, out of
was the last one
track, like athletics.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Did you meet some Kenyans in that quest?
No. I'm so glad.
Everyone thinks they run until they meet Kenyans.
Well, I've met a few in this room, and I'm not going to say too much beyond that.
By the way, guys, take this gentleman in our Kasarani Sports Center because people are preparing for, I don't know, and maybe he tries to run and then
age has caught up with me now.
But if you're able to run, you did good in sport. It's the hardest sport.
So golf.
Oh, you did golf?
Yes. And
you're one of the biggest fan of golf in the room.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, maybe on the side you'll have to chat and exchange notes.
Well, maybe we play a game of golf and then I'll show him how it's done. And then
when we go to Zambia, that should be one of our key things to do there. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, largely any sport that I could get into, I picked it up and I run with it.
Okay.
And that then just meant that my days were full. And I'd meet different people and the reason why I also did different sports was because you meet different types of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so ironically, the biggest sport that I did, or the one that I excelled the most in was rugby and swimming.
Oh, that's a good combination.
So I really put a lot of effort into swimming and that's where I learned a lot of discipline as well. So though swimming might look effortlessly for a lot of people, there's a lot of practice that goes into that. For me, we would practice in the rain.
Yes.
And
swimming in the rain, or
swimming in the rain, not swimming like it would be raining and would be swimming in the swimming pool. In the
Okay.
Just to clarify,
is that the hardest?
That's the hardest sport.
Why?
No,
I mean when it's raining.
No, it's because you're training as a group, and so when you're not in the water, you're outside just being rained on, and you're just standing
that's
there,
cold,
and you're just like, and so shivering, so it's one of those things where your mind has to be focused around, I'm here for this.
Yeah.
And you really streamline what your focus and attention will be about. And so as you sit in the line waiting, you're thinking, okay, I just did these 2 laps. I need to focus on my technique. I wasn't so good like this. And so even as though you're in the rain, you really have to focus to just keep your mind focused on what you're doing.
Yes.
It's very easy to be like, man, I'm just out here, I'm wet as a pillow, and you're not, this is horrible. But for me, one of the major things was discipline in a space like that. And some of these things you really, you build upon that muscle of discipline.
Yeah.
And so that was amazing thing for within swimming. Within Zimbabwe, but then rugby also became something that was a major part of my life. And so within the rugby world, I was a tiny guy.
Okay.
Compared to everybody. I am not a rugby looking guy.
Yes. And I agree 100%.
I thought you would say that, no, but you look like you might have the shoulders.
No, I don't lie. Oh. So yes,
I'm like, yes,
I'm more rugby looking than you are. Yes. If you know what we mean, viewers. So, why let to a gentleman that is looking rugbyish, but you're more of golf, yes, athletic, football, but rugby.
But the thing is, what I really got to. And what I'll actually start with is a story about within the rugby world for me. So that was a sport I really loved. I loved it so much. I got to a provincial level in terms of playing the sport, and I always wanted my parents to come and watch me. And so I'd tell my parents, guys, I'm playing. Please come watch. And I don't know whether they didn't have time or they weren't interested. One of the two, they just didn't show up until one time when I finally managed to get them. And we're playing one of our greatest rivals. And so I sat there and I was so excited that my parents are here.
Yeah.
And we get in the huddle and we start the game. And I'm giving it everything.
Yes.
Again, remind you, I am small.
Yes. But were you the guy who runs fast in the rugby?
No, but the problem is I wasn't even that guy. I wasn't the guy on the outside who's supposed to run. Me, I was stupid. I was put into the group with the big guys, So I was in the scrum and I was a flanker. So a flanker is essentially somebody who is supposed to tackle people.
Yes.
And is supposed to be the first one at the time when the ball is on the ground, and they get like engaged in the whole sport.
These guys were setting you up for death.
And when I look back at it now, I'm like, but seriously, I should have like said no.
Yeah.
I belong there at the back, not in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
But I was at the middle of everything. And
Okay.
maybe the fact that I was also stupid and I had a lot of passion for the sport was the reason why I ended up being there. So
Okay.
I'm there and I get to, so you tackle someone, the guy gets to the ground and you either stand up or if you're supporting, you're the first one there in defense and you try to push people off the ball. Now, I was the first one there and we're playing a really good team and I just look up and I'm like, over the ball and I'm like trying to get the ball and I look up and they're like 4 big guys and they just come, bah, and they flatten me. I'm like, yo, this is intense, but this is what I've signed up for. My parents are standing there watching me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be a punk. You won't find me like crawling out of the game. Not today, not when my parents came after such a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm there, I'm on it, and I'm playing my heart out. When I finish the game, because the actual story is not in the game.
Yeah.
But when I finish the game, I'm like, Mom, Dad, did you see me? And I'm like, smile ear to ear, and I was limping, but I was
These
fine.
after you guys won or
Yeah,
lost?
no, we won, of course.
Okay.
Especially for this episode, I will tell you that we won.
Yes.
And I might at times base my story off of true events, but I've adjusted it for
This purpose.
this purpose.
You're
to
now
be able to-
sounding like a movie director. That go ahead.
No, but we did win, obviously.
Yeah.
But so I go to my parents. I'm like, Dad, Mom, that was amazing. Did you see me? Did you watch? My mom was like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, what do you mean what the hell was that? I was playing, we won, I did those things. Like, you should be like
This is
lifting me
good,
up and
yeah.
hugging me and being so excited. And she's like, you almost died.
Uh-huh.
You almost died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I didn't almost die. I'm perfectly fine. Look at me.
Yeah.
I might be limping a bit and there's a cut on my eye, but it's nothing major.
Yeah.
And so she was looking at it the whole game from a different perspective, from the perspective of a mom.
Yeah.
And
This is my kid.
This is my kid. And she was looking at me and like, every time I get hit, she'd be like,
Yeah.
oh my word, my son's about to die.
Yeah.
And my father didn't have any,
Issues.
no, he hated it as well.
Oh, okay.
So from that moment on, they were lobbying for me to stop playing rugby,
Okay.
even though I loved it so much.
Yeah.
And through the next 3 games,
Yeah.
I then said to myself, well, my parents want me to quit. I love this sport.
I'm gonna go all the way.
I'm going all the way. I'm still gonna play.
Yeah.
And for me, one of the most important thing to that is I realized that nobody's watching and nobody cares.
It's just you.
It's me. And it's my journey
Yeah.
and it's my decisions.
Yeah.
And so for me, I carried on playing rugby,
Yeah.
not because what I thought initially was to impress my parents,
Yeah.
but it's because I want to play rugby.
Yes.
And I want to be what I want to be within the rugby world.
Yeah.
And so that became something that really stuck with me. Like I had so much excitement, so much hope that my parents would not accept me, but they'd be so excited as well. But no, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I had to make a decision. And the decision was a decision for
This
myself.
is for me.
This
Yeah.
is for me.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching and nobody really cares.
Yeah.
And so I should just get on with life, make my decisions and carry on.
Yeah.
And so within that whole experience, the rugby world, you make lots of friends, you share lots of moments, and you really, it's a gentleman's sport. That's what they call it. Even though it looks chaotic.
Yeah.
It is a sport that requires a lot of coordination amongst different people and every
And
player-
trust.
and trust
Yeah.
and with trust, because every player needs to play their part. So that side you do your thing, I'm this side, I'm doing my thing, and
It's
at the
gonna
end-
make sense at the end of
and
the
then
day.
it has to make sense.
Yeah.
And so for me, a lot of when I started within Zimbabwe was sport. And that helped me transition from Botswana into Zimbabwe. But then I went to boarding school. And my parents then left Zimbabwe, went back to Botswana, but I was boarding. And so I'd see my parents 4 times in a year. And that was at the age of 13. You get to boarding school, you think that, well, this is going to be a different experience. I'm meeting new people. And I really was separate. Like I was independent from my parents at that point.
Yeah.
And and you start to make friends, and you start to realize the hierarchy of life. And at the end of the day, that became the next part of my journey in terms of development and growth.
Nice. When we come back, we'll venture more into this story. But for now, let's take a short break.
Quick pause, folks. We're stepping into a brief interlude, but stay tuned, because after the break, we dive deeper into the incredible journey of our guest. Meanwhile, we'd like to send a massive shout out to our sponsors for empowering this exchange of ideas and innovation. We'll be right back on Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. Check us out at www.impactmasters.io. See you after the break.
Nice. Dzikamai has been in the mining sector for over 10 years, working as an engineer across two of Africa's largest copper mines, Kansashi Copper Gold Mine and Sentinel Copper Mine, owned by Frist Quantum Minerals Limited. Dzikamai has been instrumental in developing and implementing production, maintenance, and cost improvement projects that have shaped the way the business operates. All aspects have been used, technology and data, to improve strategic business decisions. Without the ability to measure, there is no opportunity to improve. The more objective the measure is, the more honest the conversation will be. With every exposure, there is an opportunity to learn and look to be open-minded to embrace new ideas and new perspectives, all with the interest of pushing boundaries, growing personally, but also growing with the team that he works with. And this is quite interesting because one of the things that we're going to talk more about is why Africa have all these minerals. But we're still dealing with hunger as one of the key things every single year whenever the rains get a bit late. And we are blessed to have Dzikamai in the house, courtesy of Impact Masters podcast and Africa's Talking Retold podcast, telling the way it is, showcasing movers and shakers in Africa. We tell our own story, we own our own story, and we take action appropriately. So Dzikamai, you are in Zimbabwe, and you are a rugby player. You are moving and shaking in the world of sports. And here you have realized that it's you and you alone. And I love that. I'm so envious of that life where you realize at a young age, actually, I got me. And whatever decision I make, I have to own it. What next?
So I think one of the most important things for me was, in boarding school, you learn about community. Mm-hmm. You learn about that you're a cluster and you can't live in isolation. Mm-hmm. And so as I go through this journey, mm-hmm. you have the older generation.
Yeah.
So the guys who are about to leave high school.
Yeah.
And they obviously have fun with the young ones.
Yes.
Right? They send you around. They might play games or, be a little bit rough with you. But all in all, the people that you actually spend most of your time with are the people that go through different experiences with you.
Yes.
And so the community that then we forge in that moment become the bonds that I've kept the longest throughout my entire life.
Yeah.
And that's because we've got shared experiences, we've got shared moments, and we've got a certain level of trust and a bond that circumvents a lot of different experiences that I might have when I meet somebody for the first time at an older age.
Yeah.
And so for me, one of the major things was going through high school and experiencing a lot of different things, but you're doing it with the same group of people.
Yeah.
And so we were challenged by somebody in an older year, and he said, you know what? You guys are useless. And the challenge that I'm going to put before you is that you're going to enter that talent show.
Yeah.
And you're going to do a play in Shona. Mm-hmm. And it has to be a traditional play.
Yeah.
And so we're like, look, I'm not one to back out from a challenge.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Let's assemble the troops. Let's get into this.
Yeah.
And so we then go on to do this horrible skit
Yes.
of a child who's lost, and the promised land is given to them, and they then follow this path of righteousness, and it's all in Shona, and my Shona is horrible because I lived most of my life in Botswana, but here I am giving it everything I got, and I'm doing it with a group of people, and you have different moments where there's no hot water, you've got all these manual labor activities that you're doing, and at the end of the day, you've got shared experiences with a very close and a good group of people.
Yeah.
And so for me, the essence of community becomes this, what I know is going to be the thing that takes me forward.
Yes.
In addition to that, I still continue with this rugby world, and we then have an unbeaten season. I am playing in a year higher than I should be. And I'm continuing.
This still in high school, or you moved to college? Okay.
In high school. So unbeaten season, and one of the coaches talked about there's the New Zealand team.
Okay.
They do a traditional dance called the haka before they play. And the haka, when you then translate it into English, talks about the passion and the camaraderie, the unity of the team and your colleagues.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, for me, the idea of excellence, the idea of commitment, and the idea of working for each other, with each other, become a very pivotal part towards how we get to an unbeaten season, how we improve year on year, and how I develop this bond with my colleagues and my year mates, essentially.
Yeah.
And being away from my parents, I then am completely, I'm independent. I'm very independent.
Yeah.
And so I continued. That's the journey within the high school space. But 2001.
But wait a minute. With all this sport, how did you do academically?
So the beauty about having a different group of friends.
Okay.
So I played different sport and I made different types of friends. So you'd be in the bridge club and the volleyball club with a different group of friends, and then you'd do squash and
you guys
and
had
rugby.
squash in high school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which high school is this?
It's Pete House.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So
no wonder. No,
I don't even know what that.
No wonder.
I don't know what that no wonder means, but yes, we did. I did, and without any.
Guys, if you don't know Peter House High School, please check it out. Yes.
But the beauty about having a different, diverse group of friends is that I had my friends who were academic. And I always knew that my life is not going to be a life where I succeed in sport. I knew that my life is going to be centered around my academia.
Yeah.
So as much as I did the sport, the things that I learned from the sport, discipline and how I work with different individuals were the things that I was also applying within my academic life.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say I was a superstar in the classroom, but I tried to make sure that I didn't I passed and I didn't go home to my parents with nonsense on my grade card. Even more so is because my parents had to sacrifice quite a bit for me to go to that school.
Maybe they sacrificed everything.
And they did.
Now looking at it, which house were you in?
Snell. I don't know. I don't even know why you're asking me these questions, because I'm starting to get a bit uncomfortable here.
No,
and this is the first time I don't know.
You should be proud of your parents.
I am
yourself.
I'm proud
in
of
the school.
I'm proud.
Yes.
But it seems like you know something that I might not know.
I know a lot of things, my friend. So, yeah, if you don't know Peter House School, check it out. It's in Mashonaland.
Yes.
In Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
A very good school indeed. Actually, it's one of the top 10, top 100, top 20?
It's definitely, it's the first, it's the best.
It's
in
the best.
Zimbabwe, definitely.
So it's like Alliance High School here, guys.
Yeah.
So no jokes around. Actually, it's not like Alliance, now that I take back my word. This school that is in Mall, what is the name? Is it? St. Andrew's Stories, or like St. Andrew's Story, to give you the context.
I don't know what St. Andrew's
No, I'm trying to give the context to our Kenyan viewers.
But Okay, I'll let you have the context. I'm going to Google that afterwards, and I'll write in the comments below if
It's a
if I
private
don't
school.
agree.
You pay a lot of money to be in it. It's good school. There's squash. I knew about squash after university, my friend.
Well, there
That's
we
how
go.
good this school is. Anyway, besides the school.
I learned about
just
squash
had-
when I got to the school. So I was like, oh, so people do this
High school.
after years. But I mean, I also learned when I got there.
Now imagine I had to graduate to learn about squash. You see?
There's never a
can't
late
defend
time.
yourself.
There's never a late time for something. So after this, we'll go play squash.
No,
okay?
I just wanted to insist on Peter House School.
Right.
It's not something you just say. It's Peter House Boys School in
Yes.
Mashonaland, East Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
It's independent boarding high school. And it looks like actually it was worth it. From what you have said, taught you discipline. You're able to swim while it's training. You play rugby. You play squash. But the point was how you hacked it academically.
Yeah.
Before I interrupted you with insisting that it was Peter House.
Insisting on it was
Yes.
Peter House. Look, I think at the end of the day, what it was for me was a combination of the school.
Yeah.
I mean, the extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So that included chess, all these other things,
Yeah.
debate.
Yeah.
Those were fantastic, but the academia had to come first.
But jokes aside, there's something actually that come in my mind. Good schools actually, generally, especially private schools, they insist of you being all way rounded. What is that? I've never gone to private school in my entire life. Even university, it was public university. But you can see it did a good job though.
Yes, it did.
So what is this being all way rounded? What does that do to someone who is growing? You know, you're a teenager, you know, there's all the energy and so on and so forth.
So the first thing that I'm going to say is that in this modern day and age,
Yeah.
we have got a lot of opportunities and facilities that are available to different people,
Yeah.
whether you're private school or public school.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So then the question now becomes on the guidance to be able to maximize on those things.
Absolutely.
And then the commitment from the individual to actually maximize from those things.
Yeah.
So for me, what I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a school like that. And what it that then does it exposes you that when you work in a team,
Yes.
how I work in a team is important in the way that I communicate from me to somebody else.
Yes.
And how I relate with you.
Yes.
And even in a high pressure environment, how do I communicate with you?
Yeah.
And I told you, rugby is a sport where you have to be coordinated and trust.
Yeah.
And so it is not good enough for me to not communicate effectively to my team member.
Yes.
And the more I practice that muscle, the better I am. And the sooner I start practicing that muscle, the better I am at a later stage in my life.
Yeah.
And so for me, what happens with extracurricular activities is that it gives you the opportunity to practice a range of different muscles that might not be solely just technical,
Which is as important as academic.
which is as important as academic. So the softer skills that you then find yourself requiring when you're now 35, 40, 50,
Wow.
those are the ones that you need to find ways to practice and train that muscle so that you can equip yourself with the tools at a later stage to be able to deal with very awkward situations or very difficult situations.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about roundedness is that I can come to school every day and I'll do maths and I will be very good.
Yeah.
And then I finish school and I get a distinction in my university. But then when it now comes time for me to be able to convey what is in my head to you, we now have this gap.
Yeah. Because it's as useless as if you're not shared it. If
Exactly.
you're not able to help someone else with that.
Exactly.
And I think you've said a very important thing in people's life, that people actually, the earlier they know that everything they do is to be able to help others as they help themselves.
Yeah.
Then the dynamics of things change. People start collaborating more. People start seeing the bigger picture beyond just passing an exam or winning. You know, sometimes also people want to be the heroes of everything. So you start actually appreciating holding other people's hand, because that gives you an extra hedge when it comes to the real world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And within the real world, a team is only as strong as its weakest link.
Absolutely.
So if you're not able to help your other team members, and I'm going to talk about it actually from a larger context. If I go Africa,
Yes.
when we look at it as a continent,
Yes.
1 billion people,
Yeah.
and then we
1.6
say 1.6
and growing.
I apologize.
Yes.
1.6 and growing.
Yeah.
And how do we then work with each other,
Yeah.
help each other to be at that space by leveraging
Yeah.
the resources, the people, the mindset? There's so much here.
A lot.
A lot.
Huge. And we're going to delve into it in a bit.
So I won't go into that too much.
Yes. So you finish Peterhouse. You graduate from Peterhouse.
Yes.
You know, at some point I thought maybe the curriculum in Zimbabwe is IGCSE.
It is.
I was like, that's the whole curriculum in either private or public?
No, yeah. So there is ZIMSEC, which is Zimbabwe Secondary Education. So there's
IGCSE, which is
IGCSE International, and
Okay.
then there's also ZIMSEC.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you have a lot of people who do ZIMSEC. So
Yeah.
I did some subjects in ZIMSEC, and then I did my IGCSE. So yes, so you did both.
How did you do
In
IGCSE?
oh gosh,
You forgot.
I've forgotten.
It
But
doesn't count.
It does because English literature was one of my best subjects. So, and I don't know how I managed to do that, but I did all right. I think I did all right. I wasn't on the front page of any newspaper.
What is all right?
Why are you trying to expose me? I'm trying to be diplomatic about how I did here. I don't need anyone else knowing. I some things, when you pass them, you just want to, okay, at least that chapter in my life is past. Let's move on. I'm now an adult. I'm now doing things, but can't we just focus on the here and now? Like, why are we...
Let me give you
trying
some
to-
context.
Yeah.
Every person who was seated where you are seated and say they did all right, they did not do just all right. So that's why I'm trying to guys, stop being, modest about these things. But it's fine.
I can answer. Let me answer, okay?
Yes.
So, and I'm for correction.
Yes.
I think I got 1 A star, 4 A's, 2 B's, and a C. Something like that.
Guys, that is what all right means. Did you hear it? That's all right. And this is IGCSE, guys. It's not just another, Tom, Dick, and Harry kind of curriculum. This is a curriculum that gets you to University of Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's the all right we are talking about here, without doing any other exam. Correct?
No.
Did you do another exam before?
So things in 2004.
Yes.
At that time, 2001, land invasions in Zimbabwe really changed the outlook of what Zimbabwe
the sanctions and whatnot.
Then sanctions come into play, and what was a very thriving agricultural sector was in a state of disrepair. It was dismantling.
Yeah.
And look, I've got different views around that.
Yeah. What is your view, number one?
Number one?
Yeah.
I think
Mugabe should not have overreacted.
No, I think it's important that some form of rebalancing of an economy is important to have had. After years of colonialism, there's a large disadvantage that has been entrenched in any country as a function of colonialism and the rules that existed. Yeah. And so how then do you transition from that point to a point where the people who were largely disadvantaged and were indigenous to that land, how do they then also participate within the economy in a way that is meaningful? And so you have to start somewhere and you have to do something. So I completely believe in that idea that a transformation has to happen. And then now the question is about how. And so you can always do different things, and you can have economic sort of agreements and try to infuse different people over time. But at the end of the day, you have to bite a bullet to transform. Okay. And you then ride that wave and you run with that. So I think that is whether Mugabe did it around for political reasons or not is not what I want to talk about. But I believe that
it could have been done better.
It could have been done better. You could argue that. But a parent raising their first kid could have done it better.
Okay.
when you're doing something for the first time, you have to just do it.
Yeah.
And then you move from that point.
Yes.
So I can't sit here and then criticize. I can talk about a vision that I can agree with.
Yes.
And say that if we have to make and be included within a global economy,
yes,
we have to also stand up, be heard, stand our ground, and actually make impactful and meaningful change.
Yeah.
Coordinated amongst each other to serve our own purposes, because it's very easy to watch TV, TikTok, Instagram, and all of these things are being fed to us from other spaces.
Yes.
They don't carry our cultural context. They don't carry our cultural messages, the history that we've had.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is not there. Now, how do I chart the future if I don't understand my past, if it's not infused within the tools and mechanisms that I have going forward? All of these things are very, very important.
Yeah.
And so, and it requires us to stand up, be heard, be part of the journey. And that is not as the face, but within the economic space of this journey that is capital raising, financing, all the rest of it. And I think those are the things that are, that's what I think is the continued legacy of some of the leaders that have helped us transition from a colonial state into one in which we're self-governing.
Yeah. Was it that bad?
What?
The transition,
situation?
because it was abrupt, or?
So it was relatively abrupt. We had a lot of white farmers get evicted from their land, and what was a very thriving agricultural sector, cotton, tobacco, just essentially stopped. And so then you started to find a lot of food scarcity. And then from that, you then had sanctions that then came into play.
Even if you farmed, there was nowhere to export this.
There was nowhere to export. But at the end of the day, you find that the whole economy within Zimbabwe starts to deteriorate because over time. And so by the time you get to, from 2001, by the time you get to 2008, you have hyperinflation. So you wake up today, the price of bread is X.
Yeah.
By the time that you get to the morning, it is 20%
I saw those
higher.
memes. I was like, no, guys, be kind to your brothers and sisters. You go to buy a bread using a wheelbarrow full of cash.
And
it's not fair.
It's not fair at all. And in that moment, it is mind blowing when you find your bill at the supermarket being over $1 trillion. You know,
Zimbabwean dollars.
Yes, indeed.
But let me ask you this, Dzikamai. Do you think other African countries could have done better in this situation? Whereby if these things were exported maybe in some market that you sanctioned, they could actually be imported even around commerce? Because I'm not sure you guys got sanctioned around commerce.
So I think a lot of if I look at the Africa Free Trade Agreement that was signed about 2022, I believe. Yeah. The Africa Free Trade Agreement is one that's supposed to facilitate trade across Africa. Yeah. And though there have been steps that we've made, the question then becomes, to what margin have we utilized that Africa Free Trade Agreement? Yes. So the platform, the policies, the environment needs the how can I say, the pipe work needs to be in place in order for other countries to be able to plug in and start supporting Zimbabwe as an example. And if that pipe work doesn't exist, if those policies don't exist, if that framework doesn't exist, it becomes now very difficult. Because if everything is being run through, let's say, the SWIFT banking process. Yeah,
which we don't own.
Which we don't own.
So once you get the sanctions?
You're out. And so it's one of those things. Zimbabwe had no currency in which you could legally transact in an international forum. Yeah. So I could hold lots of money in Zimbabwe, but how do I now get it outside? I have to translate it into dollars, hard cash, move across the border, and then
which you're sanctioned for.
Which I'm sanctioned. But at the end of the day, it makes it difficult for you in Kenya to do business with me. Yeah. Because the piping is not necessarily there. Yeah. And those pipings are essentially held and controlled essentially by people who then impose those sanctions upon us. Yeah. And so it now becomes a very difficult landscape to actually leverage your brother next door. True. Whether they want to or not, because politically as well, for them to get involved with us it might not be favorable. Yeah. Yeah. And so I think Could they have done better? Yeah, everybody can do better. I do think so, yes. But I also think that we hadn't as a continent created the pipework for us to be able to now plug in and support each other effectively.
Amazing. But you and I, we are here and you know, we are doing the work, and we want more African young people like us to put in the work, because essentially, after it's said and done, actually, sometimes it's, you know, putting the infrastructure into place, building a scale, trying to talk the way it is and see the bigger picture, so that we own the process and the goods.
Yeah.
If we don't own the goods, we own the process, as they say. If we own the goods, but we don't own the process, we're still in the same quagmire.
Yeah.
So this happens. And you're in high school, you're finishing high school?
Yeah, so just before actually, so all of that happened, and because of that, my parents thought it was best that I move back to Botswana.
Okay. Alone or now with them?
Sorry?
Did you move alone? Or
no, so my parents, as soon as I started in high school, my parents already moved to Botswana.
Okay.
And so I then follow my parents and relocate also to then live in Botswana.
Yeah.
And I'm doing day school now, which is also very different.
Yeah.
I get to interact a lot more with my parents, which from the age of 13 I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And at the same time, with that, I start, I guess, I meet who is my wife now. I meet her in high school.
Okay.
But I go to a school where, and I'm going to say it quite straight, is that I was actually surprised that, wow, there's so many white people here.
Okay.
And I'm looking around, I'm like, okay, this is different.
Yeah.
And one major thing was from different cultures.
Yeah.
It was an international school, so it had lots of different cultures.
Which one was it?
We're doing this again.
No?
I thought we were going to...
What are we
lifted
doing?
it. We did with Peter House.
You went to this school, isn't it?
Okay.
Yes. Be proud of it.
Yes, okay.
That's the least you can do for
No, I'm with you. I'm with
Guys,
you. I'm proud.
Guys, if this guy comes back with a kid...
So I went to Westwood International School.
Yes.
So Westwood International School had a lot of different types of people from different countries.
Yeah.
And so now you start to see a melting pot of like cultures in school, and they do things very differently. And so I know the hierarchy within an African context. So the older you are, the more I have to lower my head. I know that this is with age comes wisdom.
Yes.
And my mother never lies, and the older you get, the less lies you tell. But here I am now in a school with Malaysians and wow, these other countries I've never seen before. And these people are talking their mind. I'm like, my friend, this is a lot of words that are coming out of your mouth in contradiction to what the elder has said.
Yeah.
And I start to understand that is okay. You can still do it in a respectful way.
But speak your mind.
But speak your mind.
Yeah.
And so I had no issue talking to peers and challenging them.
Yeah.
But now when I was now looking up, I had this hierarchy
you have to show some respect to your elders. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
But the worry that exists for me, and I only got to learn this a bit later on, was that within culture, within tradition, sometimes those are the things that limit us.
If they're done within fear.
Yes, exactly. If done within fear, and also done without understanding. If you don't understand why we do these things culturally, then you might actually just do them for the sake of doing them, and you might lose a lot of value that exists within it.
Absolutely.
But then you also might not do it because you think it's for another reason. And so I do believe that it is important to be able to speak my mind. But then for me now running teams, it's important for me to be able to facilitate ideas from younger generations, because there's a cultural difference that exists, and I have to reach my hand down as the elder to let them know it is okay and it is not necessarily disrespectful. Or at least when you do it in a way that is not disrespectful, you can still convey a message, an idea, an opinion. And the more opinions we have in the conversations, then you're more likely to to reach a better consensus.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's good to be a dictator and just give a decision and go forward.
Yeah. I mean, you are right, but sometimes, the environment is not always set that way.
Yeah.
And, also even from the beatings that, African kids receive, I'm not saying discipline is not good, but most of it is done from the trauma of colonization. Colonization, you have to be beaten around like donkeys or something.
Yes.
Not even donkeys are supposed to be beaten, but, it was always brutal.
Yeah.
Like everything was, you are looked down upon.
Yeah.
Even today, people call us uncivilized.
Yeah.
But if you do your due diligence and proper history, you realize Africa was the most civilized amongst many other continents. And it goes back even to the point where no one knows the mathematics used to build the pyramids, where it came from, and so on and so forth. And the list goes on. There's also stories about Atlantic City. Some of it is considered conspiracy, but
yes,
there's always some history rich that shows that Africa,
civilized.
It was civilized before maybe most other, or maybe equally. I don't want to put anyone down. And when this is taught to you to like 2-3 generations or 5 generations, which is a span of 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
When those generations actually accept this is the way, then the coming generation realize, maybe we are uncivilized. But some of it is by design. And I think that's what most people should actually focus, that with 1.6 billion people, African have never been the people who want to look down upon anyone. They just want to live and live good life, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we play our part in the world and either provide innovation, provide valuable capitalists, whatever, economies, be a key player. And if someone wants to invest in Africa, not just give handouts and, just empower that pipeline so that Dzikamai, MK, and anyone else can actually build a meaningful life and create generational wealth.
Yeah.
And that way we live in a sustainable world, both through minerals, both through agriculture, through coffee, all these things that actually can be able to farm and export. But the environment that we deal in, and this is the truth, if anyone has a different truth, that's fine. But this is the truth that the longest I've lived in this world, and mostly in Africa, is that some environment that we are operating in, very rarely do we get to experience the same equal opportunity with everyone else. Either there are some boundaries that are put for us, there are some regulations that are always, you're not up to standard, but it is good we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Technology has come in to change a lot of these things.
And I think one of the major things is us preparing ourselves firstly to be able to leverage and use the technology that's there.
Absolutely.
So we have a part to play. We can't sit here and expect, I've got
things to be added over to us.
Yeah. You have to play your part. And it's easy to be good.
Yeah.
But the difference between good and excellent is a monumental difference between the two.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel like we aspire to just be good enough.
When you say this and you're from mining and engineering specifically, you have my attention. Go ahead.
And it's easy to be just good.
Yeah.
But really we need to thrive and strive for excellence. Now,
please break that down.
There's a large part for me that has to do with the echoes of our ancestors or echoes of our parents. So I grew up, my parents always were like, go to the United Kingdom, because that was viewed in a higher light, right? And so it still is.
When I was in high school, when someone slept a bit, we used to say, Maisha London, life in London.
But the thing is, it's not. There's nothing special about some of these places that we put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
It is, yes, it's got this and that, and we see it on TV. But at the end of the day, if you want to talk about where opportunities lie and where there's room for a lot of different things, you could find a lot of that stuff same within Kenya, within an African context.
Yeah.
But we put, let's say, for example, the British on the pedestal. And I'll use an example, and I got nothing against the British, but if you go and you go to certain places, and Liverpool is an example, and you talk to somebody in English, you'd be like, this is not English that you're speaking, my friend. 'Cause they've got very different dialects, and some of them might not even
slang.
So yes, and a lot of slang. And so you go, you speak the Queen's English, and we think here we're doing good by speaking, but they, even in England itself,
they don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So at times, I think we put onto a pedestal the idea that something else is bigger and better than us. But in the reality is that nobody's going to come save us, and we have to chart our own future and our own journey.
Everyone is busy saving themselves.
Everyone's saving themselves, 100%.
Yeah.
And so when I talk about that excellence, is what is that vision of what we want?
Yeah.
What is our promised land? What is our future looking like?
Yeah.
And then once we have that vision that is associated to where we want to be, and not a vision because social media and the US and the West, even China, Russia, not because we are being enforced or imposed upon, but because we know culturally these things are important to us as a people.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had a laugh around polygamy as an example, and its role within society. And I genuinely believe that polygamy has got a reputation that is, and a narrative that has been driven primarily by the West.
Yes, absolutely.
And it doesn't necessarily have to carry the stigma that it does currently.
Yeah.
And one might then ask and question about, from the context of a female, is polygamy right? So, so from a man, it's easy for me to say polygamy is the way forward. But from the context of a female, is she empowered to also contribute and to be? But the reality is, within an African society, everybody has a part to play.
Yeah.
And everybody knows the value of their part to play.
Absolutely.
And whether a lot of women want this role currently or not, historically, the role of a woman would be to look after the family, to raise the family. A household is a household because of the wife.
Absolutely. And that does not change an inch.
And it hasn't changed an inch. But at the end of the day, a lot of these things don't necessarily need to be imposed on everybody. But I do believe that the stereotype or the context that we talk about it, you might look down upon polygamy because
you are taught to look
down.
Yeah. Over time.
And those are the echoes of our past. And the reality is, when we are building our future, we need to be wary that we shouldn't build based on the echoes of our past, but rather we should build based on what we
and the reality
of society and what brings us value. And the West has a very individualistic society. The East has a very collective society. We are more collective as a community and
man
a society.
For himself, God for us all.
Indeed. And at the end of the day, you find that even depression. I mean, this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness.
Say that again.
This month is Men's Mental Health
Thank
Awareness
you so
month.
much.
And at the end of the day, it is important for me that I have the community that can help me, support me, and not put the whole burden of a community on one individual, my wife.
Let me tell you something. Just hold a bit. Don't forget your line of thoughts.
Go for it.
This month, May of 2024, is Man's Mental Health. And yesterday, or the day before yesterday, is it? Yeah, the day before yesterday was Men's Day.
Yeah.
Or so they say. And in my entire life, I've been hearing about Men's Day, right? And one thing actually that has traumatized me along the way is Women's Day. I don't know, they have, they have quite some days. I'm like, come on now. I have nothing against our women. Actually, I love women with all my heart because, we do everything for women, especially in Africa. I don't speak for anyone else. We go to work. Everything. Actually, some of us kill lions for women. I'm talking about.
How many lions
very serious.
Today?
It's very serious. When it comes to women business in Africa, it's very, very serious. But this time, my partner tells me, you know what? I want to take you for a treat. That's the reaction.
And
That
and
is
you're
the
like,
reaction. I was
okay,
like, well,
okay, what is happening?
What
here?
is
What
the
is the
occasion?
because
I don't celebrate my birthdays.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
what is happening?
you're looking
Are
around
we
like,
good? Are we good here? So, and she indeed took me for a treat. And I was like, if for a moment we took some time and thought about, not just because women versus men versus children versus all these shenanigans, and we live like human beings.
Yeah.
And you do the right thing, which is respecting everyone's boundary, ensuring that we take care of each other, ensuring we show up for each other, and not man for himself and God for us all. Guess what? We be more better people.
Yeah.
We never take this world with us at the end of the day. We all leave everything that maybe even worse than we found them, but we leave it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's very good that you mentioned that it's men's mental health. The reason why I insisted it's May is because this podcast might not be released in May. And I want people to understand when this conversation happened.
No, look,
But please,
and the
carry
thing
on.
is, there's right now I can't remember the name of the book, but the idea of men's mental health for me, especially within the context of Africa, is that we carry a lot of expectation as men,
Yeah.
and we have no avenue to actually, at least just once in a while, just take the load off and put it to the side. And so you end up finding a lot of alcohol abuse. You find a lot of different these things manifesting themselves in different ways.
Yeah, yeah.
And no more so than suicide. I mean,
Yeah.
in Kenya alone, I believe 1 in 8 suicides are men.
Yeah.
And that's a statistic that's consistent across the world.
Yeah.
And the weight that men carry just trying to live
Yeah.
through the issues and struggles, I think is something that sometimes gets underplayed. And then we just carry it as a silent illness.
Yeah.
But the reality is that for me, what I believe is that the community that we have around us, the people that we talk to, the opportunity to get support is fundamental to the structure of society that we live in. And so at the end of the day, when we look at Africa, we have a collective identity as people, and one which is ingrained within a community, Ubuntu, a tribe. We are together. We are. I am because you are.
Yes.
And I think some of these things that we sometimes path, some of these journeys that we sometimes walk, we forget that.
Yeah.
And we want to follow an ideology, a view from the Western world, which one man for himself.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think if we don't chart our path, our future, with those conscious ideas that we are trying to build something for ourselves,
Yes.
we will find that we will create something, look back at it and be like, oh, this is...
Who are these?
Who is this?
And you're actually starting to see that trend cropping from different interaction that are happening right now, where people are getting mixed identities, and then they're convoluted like, am I this or that? And then in between there, they lose meaning of life.
Yeah.
Because now if you lose that radar that guides you in life, and there's a reason why African, even without maybe the education that you're told, we didn't have, though I have a different opinion, that we were the most educated people. It's just that our education way of doing things was not capitalist, and also it taught people according to their strength, which is the best education.
Yeah, which I don't disagree with.
Yes. Yeah. So with that, I think we need to recalibrate and say, guys, we have tried everything. It's not our fault. Maybe some of us were beaten into it. I always listen to Black Americans when they go for interviews, and they're always complaining, so bitter, blaming everyone. And they have a point, because if your great-grandfather taught you how slavery was, being chained, being carried like cows and goats for slaughter, and so on. I know the vegetarian, please, don't come at me. Here we slaughter goats and cows. So you see now even how you have to give disclaimers for such statement. So you look at it and you see, actually there's a source of this pain. There's a source for this bitterness. There's a source for, people asking for such way of treatment. But look at it from a different angle. I was, in the US a few months ago, and one of the states, I can't remember which, I don't know if it's Seattle or some place, they have declared loneliness as a pandemic.
Yeah.
Come on now. You just need to say hi to someone, start a conversation, don't be scared of people, create a joke, take it as a joke, talk about anything, everything, joke around,
But
be social.
But that's the reality of some people's lives, right? That they can be surrounded by people, but feel like they are alone.
Why?
Because you don't have the collective community. You don't have the right to be able to go to a stranger and just say hi and talk to them. It is frowned upon. It is something it's a muscle that you don't use. I mean, if you don't, it
becomes a sickness.
It becomes you then not able to do it. But again, it's one of those things that
do you ignore soft skills that much, even when you're educated?
But the thing is, at the end of the day, we have our own problems.
Yeah.
And we have to solve them.
Okay.
So sometimes you can't expect, like, if there's loneliness, right? You're going to be the only one to get yourself out of that.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling lonely,
no therapist will help you.
No therapist. So at the end of the day, I have to take ownership of my own life.
Yeah.
I have to then say, whether I'm in the UK, wherever I am, I have to then go, you know what? This is not right. This is not how life should be. At least I'm going to reach out and talk. And at least if you try, you never know what you might find.
Just go with an open mind.
Go with an open mind. So I sometimes go, yes, the idea of some of the things that you see out of the West, that loneliness is a pandemic now. And I go, but the reality is that individuals need to just they need to take grip of their own lives in some instances. Yeah. And in some instances, yes, you need support. Yeah. But try. Yeah. That's the least that you can do. Yeah. Try.
Yeah. And be out there. So, Chief, even if we end this podcast here, you have done a solid job in highlighting some of them. But you just started.
But we haven't even started. Okay, you just started. Right.
Yeah,
I was going to be upset.
Yeah. No, you cannot be upset.
You told the world my IGC.
Chief, you're one guy we can have conversations for this. So don't worry. And I hope people pick a lot of learnings and not just be individualistic. Look at things holistically in a way that sometimes also we're so selfish. Yeah. We always see things on our own lens. I don't know if it's by design or something, but we need also to ask yourself 10, 20 years from now, if this is a trajectory, where will it land us? Yeah. And I love rocket scientists for one thing. They actually do the math for ages. Like, if we shoot this rocket, it's gonna land here. If something happens, we account for that. If deviation, fuel, temperature, everything. But in real life, people don't do that. Yeah. Today we're in 2024, right? What will 2050 look like? Now there's AI, this, man for himself, not for us. So there's inflation, there's, pandemics. How many pandemics so far? There was 9/11. Yeah. Within a span of 20 years, actually, we have seen a lot of changes that actually affect human psychology deeply. Actually, Corona was the biggest one because now people don't think the same way. And we have to ask ourselves fundamental questions, especially as Africans. Where do we sit on all this, or everything get decided for us? Yeah. And the reason why I'm taking this, point is that you said in Liverpool, we put these people or these countries, and UK is just an example. Yeah. I know there's French with the design and perfumes and all these things. Yeah. There's Dubai now for people who want. Dubai.
Is a sponsor from Dubai or something?
No, Dubai are good people. Emirates might be the sponsor for this podcast. But the thing is, people go there for holidays. Yeah. Imagine these are deserts. Yeah. And Africa, we have so good land and best of both worlds. We have the best deserts. We have the best tropical land. Yeah. We have also winter in the south, and I think even some part of north.
Yeah.
We have all the weathers.
Yeah.
Also, we have best lands and sceneries. But it has taken us at least, which is the last country to be free? Is it South Africa? 1994?
1994.
Yeah. So maybe we have had 30 years plus
Yeah.
to figure these things out.
Yeah.
Singapore is like 50 years
Yeah.
and they're figuring it out. Of course, there is a history behind that. I'm not, taking that aside.
Yeah.
Where I sit, I'm saying, how can we play a better place in this world and shape it, not hurting anyone, not taking away from anyone, but just becoming a true global village. And for you, actually, I see you have traversed properly, yeah? And you have realized, you just put guys on the pedestal.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not good or they're evil or something, but actually we can build better life. Yeah. Please indulge me.
So I mean, I get to Liverpool and I get dropped off at the door with my bags, and I don't know people and I'm very cold. And I finally make my way to where I'm going to be staying, and I look around and I'm like, wow. So this is the space. This is the UK, the United Kingdom. And I'm like, okay, it's very cold. So I'm going to go eat. I go eat the food. I'm like, this is cardboard tasting food. I mean, so I'm like, okay, maybe there's more.
Yeah.
And look, there are lots of great things. There are loads of great things
Yeah.
about the UK.
Yeah.
But for me, what I felt was that they've got a school. The school leverages technology, leverages individuals to be able to give a curriculum.
Yeah.
And they churn out people.
Yeah.
Right. And at the end of the day, you look around and you're like, everybody ends up being in a rat race. You get created so that you can be in an employment, paying enough money or making enough money to pay your rent and this and that. And then you might be able to get a credit card. And then you live your life balancing between being very indebted or kind of indebted.
Yeah.
But you essentially are just living on a wheel.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of people's lives. And when you look at the different structures and systems that exist within the United Kingdom, within Europe, even electricity or energy, they've got real issues around that. And it just takes Russia-Ukraine war for you to realize that once that was dismantled, you found that Europe was struggling to provide electricity.
Yeah.
And so all of these things are really just elements that we that exist, but we could rise up to get to a space where we can be doing that ourselves. Now, what helps these countries is Africa, as an example. If you look at France, and you look at the Francophone countries, and you look at we'll call it the corner of Africa that has had coup d'etats. So I didn't know this. I started reading, and I then realized that all of these 14 countries carry the French currency, and or all their money is actually stored in the French mint and the French Reserve Bank. And I'm like, but how? And
why?
Why?
Yeah.
You find that gold, uranium, and also a lot of precious minerals are predominantly sold to the French at a lower rate. And at the end of the day, then sold by the French at a much higher rate. You find that when you go to these countries, that the predominant suppliers of all goods and services are French. And so then you ask yourself, but this system that we talk about, yes, you're free, you're not colonized anymore, but structurally,
the piping is more than colonization.
The piping still resembles of previous times, and yet we sit here and we look at each other and we go, we are we're making a move. Africa's the next frontier. But if your frontier is piped incorrectly and everything just channels all the way to France, then that is fundamentally where we then don't have a part to play. We lose our ability to be part of that conversation. And so we now are just consumers within a world.
Yeah.
Because we literally just hand over certain things to different people and we then left with whatever they give us back.
Yeah.
And so I think that a large part of the discussions have to be around some of the policies that exist to not only empower people locally, but also to then build the capacity locally so that we can take advantage of the wonderful things that are happening here in Kenya and I'm down in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Botswana, and how do I leverage both of those worlds? And I was telling the people around the team that, so we have a team, and I'm moving forward, fast forwarding. I have a team where we work in the AI and digital and data science space. Yeah. And though that's a buzzword, I think eventually that is what has to be every business in reality. But I'm not going to get into that because I might be called out for some lies or whatever. But we have a team, and the team consists of people in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, Zambia. And I met these
Nothing
guys.
in the north.
No, Kenya. Oh, like north, like Egypt.
Yes.
We're looking for people. So thank you so much for raising that point. So for anybody who is in Egypt or in any of the northern countries, we would like to give you the opportunity.
Tunisia.
Correct. We'd like to give you the opportunity to work with the data.
Though they don't consider themselves Africans.
No, they are part.
I still love them.
I'm taking them. I consider them part of Africa, whether they want to or they do not. So I'd like to just take this opportunity to say, please, visit datasentinels.com and please just apply, because I mean, for us, we would like a lot more different people as well. Yeah, but we've got those different types of people across, and the team here in Kenya, they've been working for us a year, give or take. Yeah, and I'm meeting them for the first time today. Okay, and we've done lots of different things. Okay. We've produced podcast episodes. 15 to be exact. Oh. And I've never met Nyaga. Nyaga. Yeah. Paul Nyaga. I've never met him, but yet we work and we're working well with each other. And at the end of the day, it's like technology exists in order to be able to facilitate the best out of us, to be able to leverage what exists and is actually quite close to us. And sometimes we just limit ourselves and say, well, what I have is what I have. The people that I... No. That opportunity exists well beyond my locality. Yeah. And I might not even meet somebody, but the reality is that if I leverage every single corner of Africa, if we coordinate your ideas, your vision, your promise, the work, the excellence, the skills that you have, I can take some of that and complement it with what I'm doing, and then we multiply what we have, and we end up creating value more than what we could have done as individuals alone. Absolutely. And so that vision, that mindset of abundance, really needs to be there for us to be able to firstly create the vision. Yeah. But then once we've created the vision, we then need the piping in order to make that work. Those are the policies. Yeah. Those are the idea of Africa Free Trade Agreement is one in which if I need to move something from Southern Africa to North, I shouldn't have to pay tax and in each country and customs, and it's not even tenable. It's not even. And then it prices us out of a global economy. Yeah. When you build a plane, you get the parts from all over the world, put it all together, and it has to be as cost effective for a business to do that. Yeah. And policy plays a major role in that. After you've got policy, after you got the vision, policy, in my mind, the people. Yeah. You will not do anything in the absence of human capacity. Yes. And that comes even before technology. The people are the foundation of any business to work.
Yeah.
And so when I look around within the people space, it is the person has to put in the work. They need to strive for not only being the best within Nairobi. No.
Yeah.
I want to be the best in Kenya.
Yeah.
I want to be the best within the region.
Yeah.
I want to be able to impact lives across Africa.
Yeah.
I have to have the courage, the tenacity, the rigor, the grit to be determined that my journey is not going to stop at the corner within my space. No.
Yeah.
And that means that I have to put in the work.
Yeah.
I have to read up, I have to research, I have to know my stuff.
Yeah.
I can't walk into a room and start going, what are we here for? And start fumbling through a process. It has to be very deliberate. We have to equip ourselves.
Yes.
So that when we get an opportunity, if the door opens just a little bit, I should put both feet in and my head.
Yeah.
And when I'm in that room, then I should shine.
Yeah.
And it should not be with an apologetic view around, thank you for opening the door. I'd write that. No, it's I'm here, thank you.
Yeah.
And you've got this problem, I've got this. This is what an opportunity looks like. Let's go for it. And I'm giving you solutions because I'm here to create value.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm digressing now.
You are making a very important point because that actually expounds more on being good enough and excellence.
Yeah.
And excellence here, by the way, is not where you debate. It's you are an expert in whatever field you are in. And by the way, I'm from the same school of thought that we need more experts in everything. And I'll ask you, because you see sometimes there's a buzz and there's the reality.
Yeah.
Me as a Michael Kimathi or MK, I realized that technology is here with us.
Yeah.
Almost 15 years ago. And one of the things that everyone, every university chants graduates or colleges chants, graduates. But the reality on the ground is that once you chant, very few people either will go to PwC or Deloitte or Safaricom by then. But there's a whole oyster of world out here that is not covered. If you're not working at Facebook or Google or Microsoft or AWS or NASA or now there's Tesla or Twitter, you're missing out on the real technology that is making change at scale.
Yeah.
And if you at all, because I don't believe also in jobs.
Yeah.
Jobs is a sort of slavery. Some sort. They pay you enough not to sleep hungry and to show up next day. I hope my employer is listening. But the thing is, and that's the truth actually, and I don't blame them because also you have to run a business.
Sorry, anybody running businesses, including myself, I've got employees, so no, job is not a way of just, it's a good way of you, so don't listen to this guy. He's going to lead you to quit your job and then follow a passion and a dream, which is not what I would like.
Yes. And in addition to what you have said, because also I'm an entrepreneur and also, I've ever paid guys here and there, I still pay some guys here and there, is that for business to make sense, it's not intentional for you to be paid just enough.
Yeah.
And in the context of Africa or developing world, that is Brazil and other places, India, some sort of developing world, is that there's always more employees than the jobs.
Yeah.
And with that, it's more of demand supply kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereby you pay enough or less or, market rate as they call it.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that it makes sense.
Yeah.
Someone will actually ship some job in this developing market because they'll get cheap labor.
Yeah.
But thinking about it, how do we make sure that we are really good? Not just only are we creating jobs, but we are really good to an extent that even if we offered a guy in San Francisco a service, actually, if they look at the quality of work, it will be much, much better than even the guy who graduated from UC Berkeley.
Yeah. So my personal view is that we've got a lot of brilliant minds in Africa.
Yes.
And the reality is that we need to set the standards. So we need to set the standard around within the fintech space, which within Kenya, you guys lead across the world. If you go to America, you'll find checkbooks.
Yeah.
What's a checkbook? But at the end of the day, the way that fintech exists here does not exist anywhere else in the world. But I believe that it is about setting the standards and solving the problems. Now, how do we then get us to be competitive? That point, right?
Yes.
I personally believe vision and leadership. We cannot accept the leaders that we have, and even the individuals should not accept anything short of amazing excellence. Right? So what does excellence look like? It looks like it's as far as your imagination actually takes you. So your imagination should go, well, I've got this problem, and this problem looks like X. I've got this cup.
Yeah.
This cup should always refill.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to find myself in a position where this is not full.
Yes.
And now I need to find effective, lazy, I call it lazy actually, ways of getting that done.
With the least effort.
With the least effort. And it requires a lot of creativity.
And time.
So you do one iteration, the next iteration, the next iteration. And at the end of the day, I believe that countries that are developed, right?
Yeah.
It is through iteration, through tries, attempts, through experiences that they've had that get them to that point.
Yeah.
And for us, what we need to do is we need to be having more experiences so that we can then say, this, now I need to get better at this. And then we push that bar more and more towards that space that we think we can get to. So that's one way of doing that. The other way is you can see what is already there. In some of these countries, you go to China, you see what's there, you know what this looks like. And then you go, you know what, we now need to put the piping so that we can be challenging in a similar light. We can be doing things to that same degree. And so we don't necessarily need to learn all the lessons to get to the same place, but we can essentially jumpstart ourselves from point A to point Z by learning from others and what they've already done. But there's no quick way to get through a problem. You have to do. And the more of us that participate in actually doing things, then you know, and you start to build the muscle to be able to get things done and then to get things done at the right level. But even as we speak now, there are a lot of countries. And an example is within India. India is a human capital space. A lot of people from the West will outsource a lot of the work to Indian companies, and they will just be churning out results. So that means that from a capacity point of view, it exists. They do the same thing with a lot of African countries. I know friends of mine that are working remotely in and for companies in the US. Why? Because we've got the skills, we've got the expertise that exists. It's all here. But now, because there is no demand and supply, so if locally we do not have a demand for these individuals, they will go elsewhere and get that service and get that remuneration, whether it's remotely or actually relocating. But the reality is we want to keep them here. So we have to create an environment that then pulls them here and creates that demand and increases salaries here. Because at the end of the day, AI and data science is an example. Analytics, storage of data. Storage of data happens typically on clouds, right? The big players, we give them the data. Then they run machine learning algorithms on that, and generative AI gets essentially fed with all this other information. And at the end of the day, we have given them the tools that they need in order to be able to sell us products and services. And the reality is that if we were to then say, within an African context, we want to centralize data from Africa, within and held within Africa. And then we then are starting to build our own technologies that then support us within the right context. Then that gives us that opportunity to actually be participants of our and holders of our own journey. And though it might be relatively simplistic and to a degree a little bit naive, the vision needs to exist And then we then start working on the processes to get us to that space. And I think that space has to be driven by us.
True.
And we've got the resources.
Yeah.
And then we'll create the demand. By creating the demand, we will be participants and not spectators in the space that we're part of.
So you as a Dzikamai, what are some of the strategies you're taking to implement some of these practically? Step by step to ensure that we are getting there sooner than later.
So,
given now Gen Zs are not patient with anyone.
Yeah. So, and the thing about Gen Zs is that you really have to talk to them gently.
Yeah.
So what we've done. So the company that we set up, CEO, founder, and then there's me.
Okay.
Is called Data Sentinels. And Data Sentinels is focused around analytics, AI, and machine and data science. Now, what we've done is we went forward and we sent out applications via Instagram, Facebook, and we interviewed over 250 people.
Okay. From all of Africa?
All of Africa.
Yeah.
And we looked for people with the right level of mindset, the right creativity, the right grit, essentially.
Yeah.
And so we want, and we are building something that is application built in Africa.
Yeah.
Payment gateways within Africa.
Yeah.
APIs, everything. We want our context to be built by the people that we are looking to provide value to.
Mm-hmm.
And as a foundation to that means that when somebody in Nigeria, so we got people in Nigeria, Ghana, different countries.
Yeah.
Somebody from Nigeria, when they come and they talk about their problem, the solution is what we're working on because we are part of them and we are locally based. So you've got Nigerians in Nigeria, Kenyans in Kenya, Ghanaians in Ghana. And for me, for us on a practical basis, it is important to be on the ground. It is important to hire locally. And then it is important to listen to those people and how you can add value in those spaces.
Yeah.
Because what is a business useful for if you're not going to add value? And the value that you add is solving problems for people.
Yes.
And so me, number one, get people who've got grit, and it's going to take time.
Yeah.
You're going to you're going to kiss a lot of frogs. But at the end of the day, once you go through a process, you then streamline your business through remote work and having processes that allow for a culture to exist, even though you're working remotely.
Yeah.
Leveraging all the technology that exists out there. And we were talking about us and the way that we run our podcasts and, use different tools to be able to do lots of different things.
Yeah.
And everything is remote. And so maximizing those tools. Once you've maximized those tools, you have the people who are locally based to try and drive a lot of your processes as well. And that's where we are currently within our journey. Obviously, a couple of challenges would be around paying salaries and then rules, compliance, regulations that are associated that are very localized in nature.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the first thing and the first step is to have people from their country representing their country.
Yeah. Do you think the governments are doing enough when it comes to investing in such talent, such opportunities?
So the one thing that I've experienced is that capital and financing is probably one of the biggest stumbling blocks that you will always come across.
Yeah.
So how do I have a business and then sustain that business long enough for me to be able to make revenue and working capital so that I can be sustainable, right?
Yeah.
And if I'm trying to do it across different spaces, then I'm struggling. And then if I've got power outages, then what? Like if I'm trying to work remotely and there's no internet, then what? Like all of those things are the bedrock of what limits our ability to work across. And so my answer is that there are some basic necessities that need to exist and need to exist in constant supply.
Yeah.
Electricity and internet.
Yes.
In this modern world, if you're not with those two things, you are going to disadvantage yourself so much and exclude yourself from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
If everybody struggles on basic things such as electricity, a lot of people struggle. I mean, in Zimbabwe, we've got blackouts.
Yeah.
Zambia, blackouts.
Yeah.
South Africa, blackouts.
Yeah.
You've got the persistent problem of electricity.
Those South Africa, they have nuclear energy.
I'm not South African, so I want to just can I choose to not answer that question? I think. So moving on swiftly is that
honestly, I thought we're gonna, and I think this is gonna happen. Sorry, I think this is gonna happen. It might not happen tomorrow, or the next day, but the future of Africa is coming together and becoming united.
Yeah,
you can have these separate, countries that are in, I would say counties or something. But ideally, because even right now with the African trade or this COMESA, East Africa community, you'll move from here to Tanzania and you'll be frustrated at the airport because people want you to pay custom.
Yeah.
But what they're not telling you in black and white is like, you're not paid enough. And you're not looking at it that way. So, and essentially, I pray and I hope, and I'm working towards it, that we move away from scarcity to abundance.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is to look at the problem and say, these are problems. Not because we don't like the government of the day, not because we're against anyone. It's because if we did this one right thing the right way, all of us, we're going to progress maybe 10, 100 times than where we are. So even for South Africa, and the reason why I mentioned nuclear energy is because South Africa has always been this progressive country. The reason why they have load shedding, so much of it, it's beyond my imagination.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when you say electricity and internet should be constant, it goes a long way to say how important this is, not only locally, but even for those guys who are working remotely.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now there's Starlink.
Yeah. And now you've got.
But now my question is, who came up with this Starlink? Who is the greatest beneficiary of Starlink?
Well,
where is these resources going to? You see, so, and I'm not against, us importing some stuff and exporting some stuff. It's just that market has to be equalized in a way that no one loses. It's not a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
We can supply people with maize or corns. They can supply us with tobacco and whatever. We can get internet from somewhere else. We can maybe provide content. It becomes an exchange where it's more sustainable.
Yeah.
Because over time, that means either one side is consuming too much and remains poor forever, or the other side is supplying too much and maybe they feel the burden that anytime there's a problem, they're always sending aids and feeling like these guys are not doing enough.
Yeah.
So this brings me to another point, which is very important. Do you think now Africa is moving towards where people should focus in more investing rather than giving donor-funded and all this, money that either 70% is used for administration, and if 20% is used for the real job, good enough. But we have seen the disparity in terms of these and the progress. And these, I'm not talking just about the countries have been. I'm talking from the Africa perspective.
Yeah. Because
that's the only way maybe people might thrive in terms of building businesses and sustaining them.
Yeah. So I think it is probably the most important thing for us to be looking at investment and not aid.
Yes.
Aid is the biggest excuse for us not to take accountability for our own problems. And so I go that not only do we need to create an environment that encourages investment, but once the investment is in the country, we then need to maximize it. And so a lot of the time, what you always will hear is that investing in Africa carries risk. And so that risk is not worth me putting that money down. But when we look at EVs and the green economy that is essentially being driven across the world, suddenly the biggest deposits within the world, or the biggest copper opportunities, as an example, cobalt or lithium, sit within DRC, Zambia, Zimbabwe. Gold is a massive in South Africa. You've got Tanzania as well. All of these countries carry a huge amount of minerals that are going to facilitate the global economy associated to electric vehicles,
climate change,
all those things, right? And so we are working in a world where we are sitting in a gap, in an opportunity where we're trying to transition as a society to include more of these green economies into the energy mix, as an example. And so with that transition, it gives us the opportunity to slot ourselves in and to be actually a real player. It gives us the negotiation power of, you know what, we will, for copper as an example, we will produce copper, we'll make a smelter within country X, and we will then have an output that then we sell.
Value added.
And so rather than sending some
raw material,
we can do something that then allows for a greater benefit. But the benefits in that largely come in economies of scale. So that's why you find China buys 95% of the world's this and that, because they've got a large demand associated to it. But at the end of the day, if we can create that demand locally, we can create a system that allows for growth locally. Then we start adding that value, and then now when we talk about investing, we're talking about investing across multiple sectors. We're talking about mining, manufacturing, we talk about agriculture, but we sit in an opportunity right now where we are talking about Bitcoin. We're talking about blockchain. We're talking about AI. We're talking about analytics. We're talking about the EV green world. All of these things are windows in which we should be positioning ourselves so that we can say we are going to build competency in this. We're going to position ourselves in this value chain like this. And we, at the end of the day, are going to be heard. And when we say we need investment, it's not a handout just so that we can do one or two things. It is an investment in order to multiply that money that is going to be invested in us. And so whether that is foreign direct investment from outside countries or outside of Africa, or within Africa itself, investing in longer term strategic goals and ideas.
Which are sustainable.
As well. And so I think you've got a lot of development banks, African Development Bank, you've got lots of banks that exist. You've got lots of opportunity that is there. We started putting some of the framework to try to remove some of those barriers. And I mean, Kenya removed visas across Africa. And at the end of the day,
how is that?
It's actually quite easy.
So you just came in.
You just put something in online.
I'm coming.
ETA. I'm on my way. Bah.
Done. Next day.
And then you get here, you show them, and then they just scanning you in. And the thing is, yes, they'll still go into the records and look at a couple of things. There was somebody who overstayed in some other country and they weren't allowed into Kenya. So you still have some control on your borders, but it's not not just restrictive unnecessarily so. And so I go, that should be the same for people, should be the same for trade. And then we need to then solve the problems that were the reasons why we were afraid to put these processes in place. So a lot of the time people want to put visas because they're like, if I remove the visas, then now all the Zimbabweans will flood into South Africa, and then now the country will be full of crime. But not everybody wants to go to South Africa, as an example. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's some of these things are not necessarily, they're more emotion driven rather than practically. And the value that you gain out of making the change is actually way more than what you're actually afraid of.
Absolutely. And by this way, I give the shout out to the current president, William Ruto. You know, when he announced this thing, Dr. William Ruto, when he announced this thing, he has been telling us a lot of things, and you're like, okay, this guy is lying. He says this, tomorrow he says that. There is no consistency. But at least for that one now, I wanted to get first-hand feedback. No. And now that you gave it, I think it's good to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Because also I have some people who are saying, okay, as much as things are looking tough, this guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Give him some time, but also don't strain us. Like today, there was a reject finance bill, a motion. People are not comfortable with the laws because, bread was in, on that finance bill. There was also taxing the existing vehicles every year. So there's so much into it. And maybe from the point of view is that maybe he's doing this from the dire situation that we're in. But we're saying here as young people and people with the good interests of Africa, and this is beyond even Kenya, that African leaders, you have a huge responsibility of moving from the point of where you take loans to build roads. Roads is not an investment. I've never had any road that is an investment, not directly.
Yeah.
Right? And after 10 years, maybe you need a new road, right? And maybe you have not paid the loans. So it's not sustainable. But if you take the road in money or, maybe road is a good example. Also take some money to build an industry around that road that will be sustainable over time to pay that road, and repair it and maintain it. And let's build industries. Let's, educate our children so that they can offer services across the world and bring that experience back to the country and create jobs and make it more sustainable over time. Also provide us electricity to have a 24-hour economy, right? But the list goes on the best investment versus, bad investment.
Yeah. But I think a lot of the time, what I sometimes feel is that governments try to involve themselves in too many different large-scale projects, in that at times you want the government to just create the environment.
Yeah.
Just create the environment that me as an entrepreneur, I am a young entrepreneur. I am just out of school. I've got all this energy, these ideas. Give me a tax break associated to me starting up my business. Give me some opportunity associated to internships. And at least give me that starting basis.
Offer scholarships.
Something that can allow for me to then be able to turn that back and make that money into more money, solving people's problems. So if I go, some people just finish university. These university graduates don't have jobs. Now, what do I do with them? If you can facilitate an environment where they can contribute into solving other problems within industries, and they then gain some experience, they then giving back. By the time you finish a process, you will have not only a more skilled workforce, but you will have some output. And just looking for creative ways to leverage individuals so that you can build the industries, you can build the small to medium-sized enterprise, you can build the working class essentially, like out of entrepreneurs, so that you can actually be gaining more just by the capital that already exists. Right?
Yeah. I agree, but you did not tell me how you got into Zambia.
How I got into Zambia?
Yes.
All right.
We talked about Botswana, Zimbabwe, but we never got to Zambia.
How I got to Zambia.
Yes.
So I
because that's where now you're based, right?
Yeah. So I always wanted to do mining engineering and civil engineering, and it was a very simple idea. The idea was I want to always have a job.
Okay.
I don't want to be unemployed at any stage in my life.
Yeah.
And if Africa has got all these people, we're going to need roads.
Yeah.
So tick. I'll always have a road. There'll always be a need for road and housing. So if I'm a civil engineer, then I just watched a blast and I was like, yo, that is cool. I was like,
what is a blast?
Like where you put explosives or detonator dynamite, and then you press the button and everything goes poof. And I saw one of those and I was like,
Is that how you begin mining, or?
who is that guy? Who pressed that button? And they were like, no, you're a mining engineer. And I said, I want to
This
do
is after high school, or?
this is at high school. I was like, I want to do civil engineering and mining engineering.
Okay.
So that's what I was like, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So I got to university and through university, I then was in class with some people who were already mining engineers.
Yes.
And they were like, apply.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but I'm in the UK. Maybe I first go to like Australia or somewhere before I come back.
Yeah.
Because for me, it was always in Africa I was going to be. But they gave me an offer. They gave me an opportunity. And I was like,
These are your fellow students, or?
These were fellow students, but they were more mature students. They were working, and then they came to do the degree.
Yeah, but though you have put it very correctly, because even last time I checked, the UK university recruitment was more driven by the companies that are already doing mining. For some reason, I don't know why they don't teach these things early. And then they are sponsoring your education, and then you'll come and get a job maybe for some years. You decide to move, you move. Maybe you can delve into why that's the case. You can't just, go directly to it like you did. Not most people actually would do that.
Yeah.
As you continue with your story, not that it's but as you continue, actually,
So at the end of the day, what happened was I ended up coming into, they were like, we've got this operation in Zambia.
Yeah.
I was like, Zambia? I'd never been to Zambia, but I was like, no problem, let's go.
Okay.
Because I'm one for adventure, just like we're going to be on the borders later on tonight.
Oh, nice.
So what...
You have the right people on board. Yeah.
But how I ended up was because it was a young company. Mm-hmm. It was a company that was growing very fast.
Okay.
And it seemed like a really good challenge.
Yeah.
Give me the opportunity to do different things. And I was like, let's go. So I just got my stuff packed. I did my interviews, didn't even go to where I was going to be. And mining is a place that is remote.
Yeah.
So the remote world is one that does not have a lot of things.
Yeah.
So we land on the runway, and we driving, and you're seeing and you're looking around, and it's like, so these people are selling underwear on the side of the road. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know what I really got myself into, but I've signed up for this.
Yeah.
And this mine is about 7,500 people on the mine site, 7,500 to 10,000 people.
Yeah.
It's a big operation, and it's the biggest copper mine in Africa.
Yeah.
Or was at that time.
Yeah.
And that was, and I start seeing what the mining industry looks like.
The reality.
Yeah. And so I'm like, my eyes open wide. I'm like, oh, so is this what generation of copper looks like?
Yeah.
You need 7,500 people. You're moving 40 million cubic meters of dirt, and you're producing 250,000 tons of copper as a final product, because there's a smelter as well. And so you're looking at this massive machine, and they're individuals. And the thing is, when I say a massive machine, one tire on a truck is about 3 meters tall.
Okay.
So one tire, you stand next to it, the door is 2 meters. So it's
is there a reason for that?
Because you have to carry your weights, large weights. So in order to be able to carry large weights, you need big trucks.
Yeah.
And so the bigger the truck, the bigger the tires, so you can disperse the pressure.
Okay.
And so that truck, any of those trucks can carry between 100 tons to 350 tons.
Okay.
Now, these numbers are very abstract. So I have to actually think about how best to illustrate this point. I can't. It's just a monumental. It's a huge. So maybe if I do this, 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So if I had a block that is 1 meter, 1 meter by 1 meter, right? Mm-hmm. That block would weigh approximately, let's say, 2 tons. Right. So one block like that would weigh 2 tons.
Yeah.
So to get 100 of those blocks, so 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter times 100 is what sits on the back of a truck.
Okay.
So that is a huge truck.
Yeah.
But that's the smallest of the big trucks.
Okay.
You get up to 350, 380. So it's 380 1 meter by 1 meter blocks that sit there. And they are transported. And every day, 24-hour operation. And you put in, and we was consuming.
This has not been processed yet.
No. It is.
There's a whole industry that is, or machinery that is processing this into now pure copper.
So on the mine itself, and I'll start from the beginning, is that you have to drill a hole. Drill a bunch of different holes so that you can understand where the copper sits. And so once you've got an understanding where the copper sits, you then have to extrapolate using a lot of maths to say, okay, I've picked up copper here, picked up copper here. Between these 2 holes, this is the amount of copper that exists from point A to point B. And it's sitting in a 3D space on an XYZ continuation. So it continues, and it might flip, it might twist, it might turn, but it continues. And you use science and geology to interpret what it might do between the 2 points.
Okay.
And so we now have an idea what's in the ground.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but you got an idea through modeling.
Yeah.
Now that you've got that, you then now go and drill holes in a very, very tight spacing or gaps between the holes.
Yeah.
And then you put explosives.
Dynamites.
It's not dynamite, but
Explosive.
dynamite.
Okay, let's go with explosives.
Let's go dynamite. So you put a whole bunch of those there. Then you join them together, you stand far away. Then you press a button, poof, and the whole thing goes off.
So the mining engineer is the one who presses the button. Why?
No, because it's not child's play. These are real. These are proper. These are things, man. These are the same things that damage can be caused. 9/11 stuff.
Well, okay, this is a bit controversial, but you can set up the things that can blow the world, but pressing the button.
No, but okay. So the reason why.
Side note.
So the reason why it's important for the guy pressing the button to be an expert is because there are a lot of things that could happen at any moment in time.
Okay.
So you could have errors in the block that result in some of the block going off and some of the block not, and then you create a more dangerous environment because now you don't know what has been exploded and what has not exploded. Even more so, some people might not have heard that there's an explosion that's going to go off. Okay. And so then you need to make sure
security
and everything. So there's a process that has to go around safety around that ensures that the right person needs to be the one pressing the button. So that is the actual reason.
That is funny when I think about it, because if it's pressed by anyone, maybe someone will say, you guys have been pressing it for a long time. Then you kill other people.
Then you kill people. And then you be like, how hard could that was a bad idea.
Now
I shouldn't have done that.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So once you've done that, you've blown it up. Now it's in blocks and like a meter. So it's slabs, right? Yeah. And then you put them in the back of a truck. That truck then has to go and put it into a process plant where it moves from, let's say, 800 to much, much smaller, to dust. And you put chemicals and you mix it and you grind it, you add water. And the whole process now is because copper doesn't just exist as like a copper bar in the ground. Yeah. It will exist in different forms, but it is usually combined with other elements. So the key now within the processing part is to remove or separate those elements from the copper so that you can have up to 90, 95, 99% copper. So you'll be putting chemicals, you'll be putting water, you'll be washing, you'll be doing all sorts of different things so that at the end you've got yourself
with copper.
Copper.
But let me ask, is there a byproduct of this process?
Yes.
What is that?
Sulfuric acid is one example of a byproduct.
In this mining, you'll end up also with sulfuric acid.
Yes.
What else?
Waste. You have a lot of waste.
Okay.
So you have a lot of waste. Another very beneficial byproduct is gold.
Oh, in the process you might get gold.
In the process you might get gold as well. So gold is usually found with copper.
Okay.
And
Yeah, because
so-
copper similarly looks like refined.
They find
Oh, is it? Okay, the gold.
the gold is the shiny one. And
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, you do get a lot of byproducts.
Yeah.
And those byproducts, for the most efficient businesses, you look to either get as much of the gold as possible. You look to then use the sulfuric acid as best as possible for other downstream applications, and so you move on. And the thing about people is that, and me being a graduate, you come into a space and you think you know, but the reality is that the actual work of doing work is when you get to learn and you get to know
The real experience.
the real experience.
Yeah.
So being on the ground is something that is most cardinal to one's growth, learning, experience. And at the end of the day, for me, I felt that if I had that experience before actually going to do a degree, as an example, I would have equipped myself with so much. I would have gotten more probably out of my education than if I had just said, you know what, let me go finish school, then come in.
Yeah.
The idea of giving yourself that exposure to an environment, to a context, gives you opens your mind out.
Yeah.
Because the reality of what you learn in a classroom is going to be very different to the reality of what happens on the ground.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, go ahead.
no, so for me, one of the things was I get to this space and I have to stick out as an individual out of 7,500 people. And I don't think I'm a guy who likes attention, but I also don't want to be sidelined.
Okay.
So we then look at different things and identify that this mine is not really using data. It's generating tons and tons of data. So every single truck, and at that point, we had about 56 trucks.
Yeah.
So 56 trucks are constantly generating data.
Yeah.
They'll generate the data because it moved from point A to point B, how long it took, and every point is measured in seconds.
Yeah.
And so every second for this equipment is being measured and what they're doing, how they're doing it, and all that. At the same time, you've got sensors that are sitting on the trucks, and those sensors are always sending data. And that data is pulsating. It's just pulsing. And it's just being stored in a time series database continuously.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're generating so much information. Then you say thank you and you park it.
Yeah.
And the easiest example for me to translate this is when you walk into some buildings, they ask you, please fill the form.
Yeah.
Sign here and put your name and your phone number. And then they put the book in their pocket.
Yeah.
What's that for?
What was the point?
What's the point?
Yeah.
And so for me, a large portion of what the mine as a business was doing what the security guard does. Collects the information, puts it to the side.
Don't do anything with it.
Don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
But a business has to make decisions. And a lot of the decisions were being made, when I was in 1943, last time I saw this is what you should do. And the thing is, when you've got so many pieces of equipment,
Yeah.
it's maintenance.
Yeah.
It's procurement.
Yeah.
It is efficiencies. It is safety.
Yeah.
And so all of these things are traces of information, hints to how you could do it better, but you park it and you put it to the side. And for no large costs,
Yeah.
but just ambition and vision,
Yeah.
one should and can actually unlock and unleash a world that you never knew. And so when we then started was, I'm going to try and make a name for myself. We're going to start generating reports.
Yeah.
So you start with, and it's a mining engineer
Yeah.
doing this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So we had Excel.
Uh-huh.
And we go, how can we make this work?
Mm.
Then you go, there's VBA.
Uh-huh.
So you now start coding VBA code script and you put the password in cell A, and then you put the mailing list with the names, and you automate, and you have a desktop, and that desktop runs and it automates reports, and these reports are giving information to people.
Yeah.
And now suddenly people are getting a whole lot of information.
Uh-huh.
But then the next problem exists. With information, you need to then do something with it.
Act on it.
Act on it.
Yeah.
And that's the worst part of it all. People were always either skeptical
Yeah.
of the information
Resistance change.
resistance to change,
Yeah.
or the information itself had gaps. So the quality of the data wasn't necessarily there because you weren't generating data with the view of making a decision. You're just generating data as a
requirement.
As a requirement, correct. And it sits there and but at the end of the day, when you start looking through it, you then go, but this doesn't make sense. This does not reflect the reality. And now if I'm making a decision, it's something that does not reflect reality. I'm making a bad decision. So you now need to fix the process to allow for data to be captured correctly, for data to flow correctly, so that the report carries meaning and is correct and it's got good quality. But at the end of the day, you then now need to change the mindset of individuals so that you can act on those decisions. And a large portion of the resistance comes because people don't understand. They don't understand what they're looking at. They don't understand how did you get to that point. They look at it as though it is some departure from the reality of what you're doing right now. And so at the end, what we then had to do was upskill a lot of people. But you then have to create an environment where somebody doesn't feel like the change is a lot. So that the change that exists might be progressive over time. And therefore the person's able to adapt to the change. Or you just rip out what they used to have and give them something new. And you say, from going forward, this will make your life easier, but you don't have this option anymore. And you have a whole lot of problems, heartache, the rest of it. But what happened over the 8 years was the entire business transformed the way it ran. The reports became the basis of the start of a conversation. So my metrics look like this. This metric is bad because the trend is wrong. And why? And if I'm going to make this long-term strategic decision, what does the 3 years afterwards look like? And how then do I then incorporate the cost benefit into that discussion? And so you now suddenly start to have people who, the mining industry is a very traditional space. You then start having very traditional people looking at information and learning how to work in a way that is acclimatized for the modern world and the modern technologies and opportunities that exist. And I don't think that is it's a far separation for a lot of businesses at a relatively low entry point. And I talk about it. I'm a mining engineer. I don't know anything about VBA, or I didn't. But you
out of that curiosity, actually, you had to learn.
I have to learn. And there's a portion of it that had curiosity, but there was also a portion that was about survival.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to stand out amongst a whole bunch of people. So I had
to... been doing this for over 40 years plus.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to convince them. And the thing is, they're not shy. They'll tell you to shove it where it should be shoved because you are as old as he's been working. And so you're like, who are you to tell me all this? You're useless.
It's been working, still working. Exactly. That's why you're here.
That's why you're here. So these are the same things that took you to school. And I'll be like, but this is all unnecessary violence on a Monday. I'm just trying to get to the same outcome that you are. And that also then falls into the softer skills, is how you talk to people, how you work with people, how you then gain the perspective of another individual, so that when you present to them, when you talk to them, when you approach them with a solution, you're approaching them from the context that they live in. They live in a world where the struggle of getting it right and doing something comes with a fear of being replaced. And so you have to have a little bit of empathy, understanding, but at the same time, you have to know what their problem is so that you can actually solve it. And if they're solving somebody's problem, then you're more likely to get that change. And so 8 years and really just running different types of programs, different types of implementations of technology, analytics. And so then we started to get now into a space where we're looking at how do we leverage data science and machine learning and the rest of it. And so I was like, I know our mind, but we're going to hire a data scientist. And they're like, what's a data scientist? He's a guy who's really smart, does statistics, and at the end of the day, you won't understand.
He has to be smart first before anything else.
And at the end of the day, you won't understand the thing he says. But
He gets the
he'll
job done.
get your job done.
Yeah.
And so we interview a whole bunch of people, and I'm like, so I'm going to be having a data scientist alongside the developers, alongside my engineers. I'm going to have to actually level up because otherwise I'm going to look like the fool trying to, no, you're wrong. Yeah. So that's when I put my hand up and I said, I believe the space that we need to go to is within technology. I need to upskill myself. And so I put a value proposition in front of the company, and I was able to do the CTO, the Chief Transformation Officer program out of the University of Berkeley. And I said to them, I'm not here to try to be good. I want to be sitting with the best. And so I want to look at one of the most leading universities out there around this. And so I get there and we do a whole bunch of courses over a course of a year and a half. And it was...
Was that in person or online?
So we had 1 week, 2 weeks in person, 2 weeks in person.
Okay.
But the rest of it was online.
Yeah.
But you do assignments together, you do engagements in WhatsApp, you had groups and clusters that you did work with. And so you get to know a lot of the people within the team. And you had directors from Snowflake, you had the guy who's in charge of Europe for Azure, and you had a whole bunch of people redoing the entire healthcare back-end services, and a suite of different people. You get Pinterest CTO come, we had the Uber CTO come as well. So you get to talk to a lot of different people, and you get this experience that is like, okay, this is impressive because these are the things I read about and see on TV. But the reality became, or what I felt was that the peers that I had were the real MVPs because they had these experiences and I spent so much time.
Yeah.
But the gap between what I'm trying to do and what they're doing is not necessarily miles apart.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a room.
Yeah.
And like I said, I like to stand out. I don't like attention, but I like to stand out. Yeah. So any opportunity I get, my hands up, and I'm talking, and and so then people are like, this guy in mining is not even he's not an IT person. He's just a guy who looks to solve problems. But I am trying to drive a lot of the conversations that we're having and really trying to challenge thinking that other people have. And at the end of the day, we then also have discussions around the metaverse, Web3. And the room is actually an older room. So I'm the youngest in the room. And a lot of the people are sitting 45 plus years. And they're like, yeah, dude, the metaverse, sign me out because I don't understand this stuff. Because my brain has to translate. It has to go like this in the reality of the world, and then it translates into a digital space. And so what is the metaverse? Why does it carry so much? I don't really understand, but I know the next thing, but why
is it important?
Why is it important? I can't. And the reality, in my view, they then looked at me. I'm like, guys, I'm not that young. So I also don't really understand. But the reality of that was the need for a multi-generational learning experience, and that I can learn from somebody who's 20. Because the person who's 20 in 10 years will be 30 and he'll be a client of mine. And if I'm trying to hit a boxer where he stands in this moment, I will miss him because I should be hitting a boxer in the moment that he will be in. And so I'll use this analogy. So Japan, way back, a company within Japan wanted to introduce coffee. The Japanese, they came, they marketed, they tried everything. Japanese weren't interested. They have a very strong tea culture. And they said, no thank you to this. The company then says, you know what? Let's change our approach. Let's make sweets. Let's make chocolates. But we'll make chocolates with coffee flavor. And these sweets became a hit amongst the youth.
Okay.
And so the youth started to develop the palate for coffee. Because the older people didn't have that palate. They were like, this is bitter. But the youth at a younger age could develop those. So they developed that palate. And now the Japanese coffee industry is valued at $1.2 billion.
Okay.
15 years later.
Okay.
And so the idea is that if we are looking at today's problems and we're solving today's problems with today's technologies and today's mindset and today's thinking, we're not doing anything for our future.
Absolutely.
We should be thinking, what does 2050 look like?
Yes.
And how do I then create something that will get me hitting the problems of 2050? Not I get to 2050 now, I'm like, there's this problem now.
Be too late.
It'll be too late, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the thinking about the vision, about the patience, the longevity, those are the things now that when I listened to, when I was sitting in California, and it's like the metaverse, and we're looking around in the room, and we're like, all the people who are coming up are old, all the people who are in the room are old, and they're like, this is not progressive. This is not trying to hit the future where it is. We need to have younger people participating in everything that we do.
Yes.
Whether it's policy making, whether it is businesses, whether it is government, whatever it is, younger people should be sitting at those tables and they should be giving their perspectives with no shame, but they should be encouraged to participate. Because if we don't, we will be making dinosaurs. Dinosaurs will be making dinosaurs. That's it. And so that's how I view it. And that was my experience within Berkeley that then brought me back. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on this digital journey and really trying to restructure the way that we gather information, clean information, and have a pipeline that becomes more sustainable as the business. Because these are mining engineers who are doing IT stuff. It did not look pretty. And then mining engineers that blow things up, it was just not good. So we then started restructuring and trying to move also to the cloud, trying to leverage data lakes and Azure services. And we chose our tech stack to be Microsoft. And really just trying to push barriers within that. And within that journey, you then realize that the world has a lot more to offer. And if you don't start utilizing some of these tools, you become obsolete. So
as a transformation leader, there are two main goals that you have. That is positive impact and sustainable change.
Correct.
And your goal is impacting 1 million African lives by 2026. The reason why I focus on this, I had a friend back in 2015 from a country in the West Africa. Maybe it's Sierra Leone or Senegal or something.
Was he a friend or is just one of those people?
He's a guy I met in Nairobi. And
okay.
Of course, if I worked with him, I consider him a friend.
So, I'm your friend too, so it's fine. I accept.
So he also had this vision. He went to yearly program, very active in that program. He also studied abroad, and he had the same goal. But my question even then was, it's 2026, right? For you?
Yeah.
And it's like 2 years from now, or less, right. 1 year and few months.
That's correct.
Are you almost there?
No.
But
how am I going to do it?
How are you going to do it by 2026?
Okay. So the journey, and I want to start with why. Why we believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
So the founder and CEO of Data Sentinels, Nono Bukiti, she went forward and said, within Zambia, she said she was going to train up 200 people in 2 years. And she set that up and she's trained 200 people. In the process, she saved $10 million.
Yeah.
How did she save $10 million? She woke up one day and said, you know what? You, sir, who runs the mine, I'm going to save you $10 million.
Okay.
Then she woke down and was like, damn it, how am I going to do that? That's a big number.
Yeah.
But the fact that she had a number that she was targeting meant that the work that she then needed to do was to leverage the 200 people that she had in order to be able to maximize the savings that she gets.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that then leads me now to where we are as a transformational leader, is that we are currently in the process of setting up the foundation that will be able to allow us to leverage groups of individuals in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Botswana, South Africa, Zambia. And the idea is that we want to empower people to be business owners in a model that allows for people to then facilitate transformative experiences to people, but also develop their own business and generate their own income. And a large portion of that is the idea, or centered around that, is the idea of Ubuntu.
Yes.
I am because we are.
Yeah.
And that portion of the discussion requires every individual, including people who work for us, to do community engagement work.
Okay.
And so once we get to that point, we intend within a relatively short period of time to be able to start leveraging groups and pockets and tribes of individuals within the community works that they're doing across multiple countries across Africa.
Yeah.
And if I have 10 people doing 10 hours, impacting 10 people, doing 10 hours, who impact 10 people.
The ripple
10 hours.
effect.
The ripple effect can get us beyond 10, can get us beyond 1 million people.
In a year.
In a year.
Thank you so
So
much. Yeah.
right now, a lot of the groundwork is to really get ourselves the foundation set up, get the piping done, and to really start to propel within the second half, within this quarter, really start propelling.
Yeah.
And I believe you'll see a lot of that sitting in Kenya with transformation leader, T4L, as well as the data signals. So
nice.
Watch the space. I'm not here just to, I didn't come all this way to talk to you. So I'm hoping that anything that we're doing now is our number one aim is to give back, to be able to empower, to be able to transform, and to make this sustainable. The impact that you and I have by having this discussion should not end just because it went through 1 year and the other year. No. It should empower, encourage somebody to do the next step. And then it should then result in something. And we believe that what we have, we've seen it work. And we are going to be able to impact people's lives in a way that allows for everybody to also to stand up and be counted.
I agree with you, and you're in the right place. And I'm glad you didn't come all the way to talk to me for two reasons. One is because Africa's talking, empowering developers across Africa, doing an amazing job at it. And at Impact Masters, you're disrupting the status quo. And we're also doing an amazing job. One of those is these podcasts in collaboration with Africa's Talking. And I believe Africans are very, very smart, super smart, but they never have a platform. And when I hear a young guy like you, among us many other who are African, and they're doing something about creating those platforms, I thank God, but also I'm super proud that there is a future and a better future date for Africa. Mine is just to encourage you that keep at it with the team. Of course, I know you're representing a huge team behind you, but also, again, to say this is just the start of the many. So when we come to Zambia, we'll talk more. When you come here, let me know. Now we know each other. I just knew Paul.
Now we know each other. But I want to actually go a bit further than that. When you talk about the 160 developers,
170,000 developers.
170,000 developers. So when you talk about developers, in that, what I hear is there's an opportunity to collaborate. When I sit here, we have this discussion. I want to hear your story on my podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, at what point, I don't want to wait for you to get to Zambia. I want to know, before I leave this studio, I want to know. So MK, he sounds like a smart guy. He looks like he's got a mission and a vision, and he's got sponsors and. How can we create value? How can we leverage each other's spaces, thinking, mindsets, everything, experiences to complement and then create value onto a table that really started off as a podcast, but rather materialized into something meaningful?
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to manage to impact 1 million people. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
If I don't take every opportunity
that comes your way
to understand what you're doing,
and
to be a part of what you're doing. And so that is where I sit with that.
Do you have time?
No, look, I'm done. I'm done talking. So I'm actually a bit hungry, if I'm going to be honest. That's the only thing. I'm actually a bit hungry, and I was actually hoping to have some alcohol in me by now. But look, this has been really exciting. Nonetheless, you're taking away from my Boda Boda experience and me seeing.
No, Boda Boda is a 24-hour economy. You guys didn't,
No, but I Boda I'm referencing Boda Boda because they had like a whole night planned. They were like, so we'll be done with the podcast by 8. And then after 8, we'll And I was like, my guys.
Life is not what you plan.
Yeah, indeed. But anyways, look, it's been wonderful experience for me in terms of this podcast. The biggest thing, at least, is around how do we grow, support each other, give each other platforms, but then solve practical problems that add value within the continent.
Let me give you a rundown.
Go for it.
So for us, we are more practical than verbal. I learned to speak maybe with people maybe like 10 years ago, when I realized that I have to build sustainable communities across Africa. And this is learning to speak with people who are introverts, who are developers again. So I'm still learning, to be honest. And it took a lot of courage even to be a host of this podcast. Because you see, you meet people like you are fluent, articulate and all that. And so many others who even have accent. And you're like...
But you know what?
But you're doing so far so good. But go ahead.
I wanted to say something. So when I started the podcast because... I am not an articulate speaker. My parents, when they heard it, they were like, so you're not eating your words, you're actually audible. And I'm like, I'm just doing this because I need to be able to talk. And this is the skill that I'm practicing as I do this. So I don't look at me as a good example. I'm struggling my way through this current podcast.
Guys, listen to us. If you really want to have that Queen's accent, start a podcast. You got it from him. But anyway, back to the point. So when we go to a country, and thanks to Africa's Talking, I was just doing it in Kenya. And I was like, how is this going to scale? So at some point, even I tried to start at least East Africa and scale, but it was so slow. Then I joined Africa's Talking now 3 years ago. And now I was able to reach out to different regions across Africa. And so the plan is that when we go to a market and we want to even scale that further, we do a hackathon. Whereby you get to build. Let's talk more code. We meet some of the movers and shakers in that market. And there are 2 things that we do. We get to listen what the impact of our product, which is assessing telco solutions through APIs, what it's doing for that market in different sectors. Right now, we're supporting over 18 sectors and counting. May it be clean energy, may it be, communication, marketing, there is oil and gas, there is a portfolio of, those sectors. Then we are able to tell the story either through customer story, just a 3-minute video of showcasing what you are doing in that market, and also how the API is powering that. But also we take some time and sit down with people like you, people who have innovation spaces, people who are building developer communities, and have a podcast. And this is more lengthy, just to articulate a couple of things. One is that to show that journey. It's not just because it's you, it just happened. No, there was a process. There were some different things that shaped you. You went to UK, but you felt like you should come back home. What castigated that? What are those experiences? This is just to encourage also the generation that will come 100 years when we are long gone, or maybe 200 years when we are long gone, and our history is not captured anywhere as we found it. For us, actually, if you think about it, there's no the history that is 200, 300 years ago that we can go and say Africans were like this 300 years ago. But also more so to tell how we are building tech ecosystems so that the mistakes that you make in the next maybe 20 years or 50 years to come, your grandkid will not come and start saying, I need to learn afresh. You'll watch, this podcast amongst many other documentation you'll create over time to be able to say, if Dzikamai did this and these were the learnings, I don't need to start from there. I can start maybe 10 steps ahead. And that actually propels us closer to where we want to be. But the realistic point that is so strong and that we keep insisting in these engagements is whereby we should not be at the mercy of leadership of the day. We should be at the mercy of our intellectual and the solutions we're able to build for our brothers and sisters across the globe. And that's enough addressable market to change the dynamics of so many of us that is left at the mercy of the piper. So that's where we are basically. And right now as we speak, I think my chiefs here and myself will exchange notes on how can we be able to work together practically, both in Zambia, maybe even in Botswana or even Mozambique actually. I know they speak Portuguese, but you have to learn. And also Zimbabwe in South Africa, because already we have a market in Zambia. We have even an employee there. We have someone in South Africa, Botswana, and they're looking really, really good, in Malawi. So there's an opportunity there that we can work together. But Kenya is where we have really, made most of these, because also our headquarters is in Kenya. But we are always looking outward to see if we align and the mission, aligns, we should be able to do some of these things. So that's something we'll discuss off the podcast and how to go about it. But we welcome anyone who is listening to this. It may be African company or foreign, we don't care. As long as you are, what you want to do is really clear and it has value for general community. It serves the Ubuntu. We are your people. And we have really, really great minds in what we do. So it's not, we're not coming here for good enough. We are really excellent. And I say this with all humility. So I would encourage anyone. Also, we have a summit, yearly summit.
Okay.
Our first one was last year. And we try to also showcase some of the technology. You could be actually one of the speakers there to showcase how you use data to make decision and how that has changed over time, to even showcase other miners how to do it.
When?
October.
October?
Yes, October.
I have to talk to
We'll work on the details.
Yeah,
so
let's
don't
do
worry.
that. Let's do that.
So
I'm
there
very
are a lot
keen.
of opportunities. We also do mini summits.
Yeah.
One of the key markets that we wanted to go this year, yet to be confirmed, is Southern Africa.
Yeah.
And that includes Zambia. So there are a couple of things that we could do together. But before we start pitching a 5-year strategy here, I would love you guys, if you can maybe encourage our viewers to subscribe, both in your native language and the Queen's language, whichever it is. If you're not okay with that, that's fine. The English language is fine.
Yeah.
I think you are being shown the camera that you're going to do that too. Yeah. What else is he supposed to do? Parting shot. Yes. So you can start with parting shot, or you can start with parting shot.
What is the parting shot?
Just,
Say a couple of things.
Yeah, like,
All right.
Summary of, encouraging guys to, yeah. And then, subscription. And I should look at that camera, of course, after you.
All right. So for me, being here in Kenya is absolutely amazing. And Nairobi is the hustle and bustle of where tech innovation is within Africa, across Africa. And so what better thing to do than to actually be here in Nairobi? And so for me, I'm actually thankful, grateful for MK hosting me on the podcast. The discussions that we had actually spread across lots of different things. And the beauty about what we've talked about, I think, allowed for me to share some of the experiences that I've had through my life, but how they also reflect on the future and the vision that I see within Africa. And within Africa, what I see personally is a collaborative space where we can create value across multiple different sectors and across multiple different countries. And what does that require? It requires each individual to play their part. And more so than that is also for us to be able to collaborate to make sure that we are maximizing the value that exists amongst us. I think we've got a lot of opportunities amongst us to be able to do a lot of great things. And we just need to stand up and be counted. And within these discussions like this is the space where we give ourselves not only the encouragement, but the ideas, but also the networks to get to that space that we all hope to get to. Have that vision and that persistence to get things practically done, to get to a better continent all in all. And it's about the tribe and the community, and we're doing it together. So more than anything, I'd love to thank you all for really putting this all together for us. And from Data Sentinels, from Transformation Leader, we not only think that this is the start of a long journey, but it's one that we want to really start to challenge each other, because we've got 1 million lives to change, to transform. And we've got a continent to disrupt. And we're only going to be able to do it if we do it together. So thank you so much for having me. And when we look at the different platforms that you can reach us, it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and the handle will be Data Sentinels and Transformational Leader. So please follow us, like and subscribe, not only to this podcast, but to the Shameless podcast, which is brought to you by Transformation Leader, as well as Transformation Leader and Data Sentinels. So there's plenty more where this has come from, and I think you haven't seen the last of us, not only here in Kenya, but also in different areas and corners of Africa. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. That's amazing. So that has been Dzikamai Gangaizo. Chief Mining Engineer at First Quantum Minerals. You know, as I've made it a habit nowadays to conclude with African proverbs. It's only that I don't know how to put the accent on the Zambian language. I just want to use Zambi for now, but there's one here, Omubalakale Ulaya Fuilisha. And hali beginning is half the battle. I don't know if I said it that right. People from these called Zambian proverbs, Bemba. They can correct me. But that's the reason when I come to Zambia, maybe I learn a few way of saying it.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why to visit more African countries. Ethiopian Airlines, I don't know why you should not, and Kenya Airways, you should not, work on those pricing.
I mean, there's a direct flight from here to Lusaka.
Yeah.
Kenya Airways could probably give you a discounted flight.
Yeah, I mean, they could sponsor this podcast and my crew.
Indeed.
I don't know which hotel has some hosting there. These things could work out if we...
Sometimes you speak it into existence. So I'm looking forward to you joining us on the free Kenya Airways trip. And sponsored by somebody.
From your mouth to God's ears. Or to Kenya Airways ears. Anyways, so this has been Impact Masters Podcast. Disrupting the status quo. We are available on all podcast channels, including YouTube, Hi-Hat Radio. I heard Google now is closing down and moving everything to YouTube. So if you are there, also check us on YouTube podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the channels that you think about our podcasts. If you go and search Impact Masters Podcast or Africa's Talking Retold Podcast, you'll get us there. So regardless of your channel, you'll get us there. Something else I needed to mention here is that thank you so much for over 1,000 downloads. That's very interesting because, man, we do like 4 hours kind of podcast. You guys have been very loyal. There are some guys I see every time we publish something, they're there. So thank you so much. And always being there for us, sharing with your friends. I don't know how to thank you. Maybe we should have a budget to send even airtime or something, just saying thank you. We'll find our way. Maybe in the near future to just appreciate your support and everything. And by the way, for sure, when we start making money, I'll make sure 50% goes to our listeners, and also start some foundational kind of projects. Now we have another podcast in the house. Now this is the second or third podcast in the house. Some of the guys I've hosted, they have gone ahead and started podcasts. So the ripple effect, the Ubuntu is working.
It's working.
Until next time, this is Michael Kimathi, or MK if you want. And I would like to wish you a wonderful, wonderful morning, evening, lunchtime, whenever time you listen to us. I want to wish you all the best, and also to encourage you to be guided by Ubuntu principle.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Impact Masters. Thank you for tuning in and sharing this space of growth and empowerment with us. Remember, every step you take has the potential to create an impact. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep implementing, and most importantly, keep mastering your impact. Remember to check us out on all platforms by searching for Impact Masters. Subscribe, follow, and share. www.impactmasters.io. See you in the next one.